Good morning, night owls. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody is doing great. As for me, I had to take me a little siesta. I had a busy evening. Me and my wife went to go celebrate our third year anniversary. We went to what's it called? Steakhouse? Um, Row House. Man, I think it was a lot of serving. When I got home, I was out. Well, I want to show y'all my killer flashlight that I have. Sound like sounds like a cat in the distance, making that whining sound like when they're in heat. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope everybody's doing great. I know it's late. I just woke up. When your body shuts down, then you need to get some rest. I've been getting a lot of rest uh, this past couple of days. Um, Ever since I recuperated from the allergies that I had, that I've been having for over a month. It's like my body is resting now. When you're coughing constant and you can't sleep. It's like you're asleep, but it's like it's more of a restless sleep because of all the coughing. So you're really not getting the much rest. That's what happened to me. It has never really in my life happened that for that long. Um, I wish me. It was before the eclipse, and it was a day where I went outside to take out the trash. When I came out back inside, it hit me bad, and so it's like your when you get like allergies or a cold, that all has to do with your senses, So I was sick for about a month and a week or 2 weeks. So my senses were being infiltrated, I believe, because I got to the emergency room and everything. The doctors couldn't find nothing on me, but I had this whooping cough that wouldn't go away, and a lot of mucus, a lot of coughing, that it lasted for over a month. So in saying that, I couldn't go out there and do my investigations, do my work, what I do spiritually, because my senses, of course, there's other things that we can use from the spiritual conditions besides anything up here, which is uh, the senses that we can use spiritually, brothers and sisters, is feeling, using our senses of feeling, even though your senses might be obstructed out here. The senses of feeling, what's feeling around us in inner space, right? Uh, as our energy radiates out of us, we're able to sense what's around us spiritually. Uh, but I'm going to continue to do this quick video, I guess. Not unless people show up. Uh, I just want to speak a little before I continue with the story. I just want to say, you know, to all the people that support me, thank you. I want to say this to y'all. Thank for all the people that like to troll or mess with people. I wish that you could, find a way just to listen. Without uh, playing games or messing around with people's live feeds. Find another hobby. If you feel like you want to troll somebody, go hit the weights. Do something positive. Hit the weights. Do a workout. Go for a walk. Go help your neighbor cut their grass or something. Do something positive instead of just focusing on targeting people by trolling. And for those that, that for the people that Every time I make a video saying something long and all that, I mean, all I can tell you is here in spiritual encounters, I'm just sharing my experience, my wisdom, and knowledge. I'm not trying to come after nobody in any kind of way, shape, or form. I'm just sharing my wisdom and knowledge. Uh, if, Instead of writing a big old paragraph, right? Just my suggestion to y'all that if you instead of writing a big old paragraph of why you don't like the video that I made or why this or that, because you always have something to say when I make a video. How come just you don't create your own little profile or little YouTube podcast and say what you're feeling? Just like you write all the long paragraphs, say what you're saying, but in person. Because when I read all these long comments and there's no picture or name behind the individual, to me that's a troll, right? Me or anybody else that's got a podcast that's doing something, we're not hiding from nobody. We're saying we're sharing our stories or wisdom or knowledge of what we've experienced or what we've heard to the viewers. We're not hiding. Uh, I'm not calling anybody names or nothing. I'm just sharing my wisdom and experience. So basically, what I'm saying is get a life. You also can make a change within the spiritual, paranormal, or cryptid community. By doing something about it, and trolling people or saying something negative about people is not the right thing to do. That's just negative stuff. Just doing negative works. Like I said, I don't hide for nobody. My name is Abe Cias. I live in Temple, Texas. Uh, my real name is Abram, but all my friends call me Abe. So I live in Temple, Texas. I used to be in the military for 10 years. I was in Operation. Germany was my first duty station. I was in 135 Armor. Went from Germany to Operation Desert Storm to go protect liberate the Kuwaiti border, which I fought in the battle on Medina Ridge, which I witnessed a lot of things out there. When people talk about the Gen, I witnessed it. I witnessed how they look. I was there. I was there in their land. So I know how they look. One thing that attracts them is fire. Any kind of energy, they'll surface up, and they'll come in numbers, and especially at nighttime. At nighttime, you can see them, but they don't have. They're not with our night vision, right? Night vision goggles or the thermo, thermo, thermonuclear capabilities that a tank has. When I see them around the fire, um, or use the PBS 7s, and the PBS 7s was only registering the heat of the fire, but the degen that were standing around the fire, it would register no heat source. I did the same thing with a tank. I used a tank one time. I lit up a fire, so when they surfaced up, I would see them standing around the fire that we would start. This is we're going back in '94. Uh, we were burned. We had burned some trash right before the sunset, so there was still heat index coming off the pit that we had. We were burning the trash, and you could see the degen around the flame. There was a lot of them. But when you use the night vision, which is a PBS 7s, we call them PBS 7s in the military, you put on the goggles, you couldn't see nothing. But when you took off the goggles, you could see the silhouettes of them standing around. So I got in the tank, turned on my thermal capabilities. I looked with the gun tube. When I looked through the gun tube, you still couldn't see a heat index. The only thing you could see the heat of the flame. So the degen, just like the DDN, they don't read a heat signature. They don't read a heat signature. It's like just like a dark void or a dark silhouette, that you could literally see something standing there, and they're pretty tall. Uh, they were coming numbers. They were surround the pit. They keep standing. The only thing you can see is kind of like a dark silhouette of them standing around it, and they're pretty tall. I would say like 7 foot tall, 6 foot. They're varied in different sizes. Um, I know it's supposed to be about the Llorona, but I don't know. It just came to me right now. Because when you experience something, remember. I remember I was pulling guard. We were guarding the front gate, which it's got sandbags and like a little hole where you can go in there just in case you get hit by artillery. So I was a sergeant in charge of that guard, and my soldier had to go use the restroom. He said, "Hey, Sarge, I need to go use the restroom." The latrine, outdoor latrine, was in the center of the camp. It was cold at nighttime. You had to wear the gear. I mean, cold weather gear, severe cold weather gear, because in the desert, it's like it's hot during the day. At nighttime, it gets cold as hell. So that I'm there with all my gear, and the wind's blowing and stuff, and it's cold as hell. And I tell my soldier, go ahead, but make sure when you handle your business, you come back over here. And I'm sitting there, and I'm pulling my guarding the front gate, and I'm looking with my PBS sevens to see if he's coming out of the restroom. He had been gone for about 30 minutes. So I'm trying to figure out, man, when is this? Because we had to go wake up the other people that were going to pull the next shift. So I'm there guarding the front gate to make sure nobody comes into the front gate. That's enemy. But I'm there to open up the gate. If it's somebody that's coming in, you have to say a certain password in order for them to come in, and they have to respond to the password. So he's not coming. I'm there, and it's almost time for me to go wake up the other. And I think it was like the second to the last shift of guard, for the day, for the night. So it's like, man, I guess I'm going to get stuck here pulling guard because this guy's not coming out of the latrine, and in seriousness, when you fail to guard your position, like guarding the front gate, that's an Article 15, right? You're not supposed to abandon your post, and that's what he did. Uh, what happened to him is when he went to the restroom, he fell asleep in the restroom. So as I'm guarding the gate, the front gate, I'm like looking through my sevens like this, and I don't see him coming. I don't see him coming out of the outdoor latrine. When I turn to my right, when I turn to my right, I see someone sitting beside me, like literally a silhouette of a dark entity sitting right beside me, looking at me. He's like literally looking at me, and I'm looking at him, because I'm kind of like sitting on the sandbags, and he's sitting right beside me, looking at me, and I'm looking at him like, who the hell is this? And I'm looking at him, and we're looking at each other, and then next thing you know, he just fades away, you know. So I was like, whoa, that was crazy, and I'm still looking for the Simmons to make sure that the guy comes back, but he's not coming back. So as I'm standing there in the front gate, I'm like, at that time I think I might have been smoking at that time. I would only smoke, either do some chewing tobacco uh or smoke. I think I had chewing tobacco in my mouth. I can't remember. It would keep me awake. So I would spit out the chewing tobacco, and I'm like, what the hell was that? I did the sign of the cross, right? As I was doing the cross, I heard gear. We call it LBL, or gear that we wear. That's the straps with the belt that we wear, that we have our canteen, and we might have a knife on it. That we wear. So I hear that, like somebody's running. I could hear the equipment of the gear, and I'm looking with the seven. I can't see nobody. I'm looking over there to to where the latrine is. And I'm thinking it's my soldier coming back to to the gate, but I don't see nobody. So when I turn around, there was nobody beside me. But when I looked to the center where the barbed wire was, that we got laid out, blocking the gate, I this is what I witnessed. What I witnessed was this, brothers and sisters. I hear like boots on the ground. You know when people talk boots on the ground? It's nighttime. It's pitch dark out there. So what I witnessed is boots on the ground, where somebody is literally running. Like you could hear feet stomping on the ground, right? So as I'm looking, this is what I witnessed. I see like I think it was like three soldiers, right? They were running, boots on the ground, and you could hear them running where the boots hitting, stomping on the sand, and they went right through the barbed wire, like the spirits. You could hear the gear, you could hear the stomping of the sand, and their spirits went right through the Constantine wire that was blocking the gate, the main gate. So I did the sign of the cross again. The soldier never relieved me. I had to pull another shift. By the time somebody came to the gate to see what was going on, they were like, "Hey, how come you didn't wake up?" I said, "Well, I didn't want to get the soldier in trouble." They said, "No." So instead of saying, "Well, my soldier fell asleep in the restroom," I just told them that I wanted, I was wide awake, that I didn't want to wake nobody up so they could get the extra rest. So I didn't get the soldier in trouble. I just talked to him on the side. I said, "Look, luckily you're pulling guard with me, because you would have been with anybody else. That's an Article 15, and they're going to take your rank, right?" So we finished the two duties, and I guess the platoon sergeant got him pissed off because we didn't relieve the other people, because they told them that we didn't relieve them. So they said, "Okay, since you didn't relieve them, you're going to do PT with us today. Even though you haven't gotten rest, you're still going to do PT with us." I said, "That's no problem." Nobody got in trouble. So I guess, imagine we're guarding the border of that's between Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, and when we're guarding, there's been a war from the war that I was in the night, in Operation Desert Storm, and we're guarding it like in 1994. So make us do PT. We're running in the sand. As we're running in the sand in formation, we're doing company PT, and everybody's running. Right outside the gate, we're running. We come out of the gate and we're running. They're taking us on a run in the sand. And to me, it was not a good idea, right? Because if there was bombs or things that are in place that's still stuck in the sand and nobody knows, because it's covered up, So you can step on something, and something might blow up and kill you. But the company commander was all gun ho, and he thought he was a smart man, So he got us running out there in the sand near the near the borders. As we were running, one of the guys that was in the back stepped in a hole. He stepped in the hole, and he broke his leg, and half his body was in the hole in the ground. And there were people, like, he started screaming immediately when he broke his leg, and they stopped the run. And then the company commander's like, you see them with his leg broken, and people are pulling him out of the hole that he stepped in. Well, when they pull him out of the hole that he stepped in, what was in the hole, they found three skeletons, three dead people. The skeletons of three, should I say, Iraqi soldiers from the Operation Desert Storm. They found three bodies inside the hole in the ground, in which the company commander ran everybody back through the gate, and he said that we wasn't going to be able to do PT anymore because we don't know what's out there, And I was trying to tell him, hey, that's not a good idea to do PT. Well, that guy went up with a broken leg, but I believe Since I'm spiritually gifted, that I've had this ability of being spiritually gifted, that what I was witnessing was the ghost of this soldiers that were trying to get me to help them, to help them where their body is. So they called the chaplain, and the chaplain came and put some holy water there in that area where the bodies were found. But that's a true story that happened to me. I was in I was cross attached to 1-5 Cav. I was a tanker, cross attached to the infantry when I got sent back out there for a rotation to guard the Iraqi border in 94, 95. I have a picture when we're all out there, and I can circle. There's so many soldiers that I can circle my face where I'm standing there. You know, true story. Uh, the things after that, and I know I'm gonna get to the Llorona. The things that were happening after that, that the bodies were found, it's kind of like when the priest blessed that area. Other things started happening. The boots in the ground continue to happen, where you could hear somebody running. I had my cot on the ground. You could see snakes, you could see scorpions, vipers, big old black scorpions. I was sleeping on a cot, right, in my sleeping bag, and I could hear where somebody would run. I could hear the gear, the boots on the ground. No, we're talking about boots on the ground right now. Uh, you can hear like somebody's running towards me, and I'm thinking it's my because we're a 4-man crew. I'm thinking it's some of my crew because we had a tent set up in the middle of the camp where the soldiers will go hang out, play cards or whatever at night. Whoever was awake or whoever wanted to be out there till like around 11 or 12 or 1, they're out there playing cards or whatever. Uh, I could hear somebody running towards me as I would be in my sleeping bag. Then I feel somebody press their elbow on my throat, and they start choking me. I feel like somebody's choking me. I will feel sometimes that somebody will come and pull my sleeping bag and literally pull the cot. So when I would jump out of there, I would sleep with my sevens, and I look and I don't see nobody. There's nobody. I go around the tank. I'm looking underneath the tank. I'm looking everywhere. I don't see no kind of movement. So you could say for a long time while I was there for I believe 6 months guarding. Was it 6 months or no, or 3 months? I can't remember. I think three. It was a 3 or 4 month rotation. When I was guarding there in that area, I was being spiritually attacked daily, where something would come and try to choke me out while I was in my sleeping bag. I was telling my soldiers, I was like, "Hey, don't be going over there playing cards no more, because there's something out here, man." I'm letting us, Sarcias. So I know you tell us all the stories, but we're not afraid. We're not afraid. My soldiers, which was my loader, my driver, they were younger. I'm like, I'm telling you, there's something out here, man. Something's coming choking me at nighttime here while I'm asleep, and it's happening every day that I can't even get no rest. Now I jump on the tack and try to get some rest up there, but besides that, down here on the ground, there's something here. Uh, they're like, ah. Well, so one of them was playing cards, right? I'm on my cot, trying to get some rest, and I hear boots on the ground, like something is running towards the tank. That they're coming from over there, and this noise sounded different. You could literally hear like a lot of thumping, like something was running real fast. This is what I witnessed. My soldier. Now this was my soldier was running so fast that when he got near the tank, he jumped from the ground all the way to the back deck. And the back deck is tall, that you have to step on the sprocket to get on the tank. On the tank, jumped in his sleeping bag and went to sleep. So in the morning, when he woke up, I said, "Hey man, what happened to you last night? I heard you running super fast. I seen you jump from the ground all the way up there." And he's looking at me, like all scared. So what happened? So sorry, she just, "You're not gonna believe this." I said, "Well, tell me what happened." So I was He said I was coming back from playing cards, and I was walking back to the tank. No, because it was a good little distance. And then where that thing was, it's like maybe it was over like 150 yards away. So he said when he was walking, that he seen a dark shadow figure, which looked like a soldier, walking right beside him, talking to him in a different language. Talking to him in a different language. He just seen the dark silhouette because it's so dark out there. It scared the hell out of him, and he took a running. Uh, he said that, and from then on, he wouldn't go back over there because he got scared. You could say very bad. You know that he experienced something that he will never forget. I would try to tell him. I try to warn. You know that's what we're supposed to do, right? Warn our crew. Like, hey man, be careful. I feel there's something here. Another thing that would happen was they're like making when there's supernatural activity like that. One of the noises it was mimicking was the noise of something electronic. No, the noise that I would hear was like a buzzing sound, but it sounded like a buzzing sound of a what do you call it? One of those remote cars that's in the the people have the little remote that you control it with electronic. It's like a little like a doom buggy or something, or the people play races with them sometimes for competitions. Well, that's what I was hearing at nighttime. So when I would hear that little noise, I knew that the spiritual activity was picking up. So what I would do, I would get up and I would go into prayer. You know, I would go into prayer and pray around my tank, pray around my crew to protect the crew. Our tanks were set up around the perimeter, which was in the like near the outskirts. But yes, a lot of activity, man. People don't understand what people don't understand what the soldiers have to go through. Well, check it out. I was sitting. I went to there to that to the place where they play cards during the day, and I was sitting on a cot. Right, the ordnance people came, which the ordnance are people that they have those machines that beep. I was sitting on a cot playing cards. The ordnance people came inside that tent, and then where I was sitting, it just went off. Beep 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 beep. They're like, get off that cot, get off that cot. You know, it's just going off. Beep 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 beep, like going crazy. And like, why is it going off? He's like, get off the cot slowly. So I get off the cot slowly, you know, and I leave the tent. I'm like, man, they're messing up my game here. You know, I leave the tent. They dug up and and uh and Air Force. It was, you know what was underneath that cot? I'm gonna let you know. It was a bomb that the Air Force drops, a big one that was underneath where I was sitting at. That at any given time, it could have exploded. So thank God that the ordnance people came in there because you know there was a lot of people probably that there were some that sat in there, some slept in that area, which was a higher ranked people. Luckily, it was one of those big bombs that you drop from the air, you know, a huge bomb. They dug it up out of there, and they came and the ordnance people came and took it. It was huge, man. It was crack. It was massive. You know, when they were dropping bombs and all that, there's a lot of stuff that didn't explode. You know, whether it was a dud or whatever, but it was huge. I just got lucky that that day those ordnance people came into that cot into that area, and they found that there. So after that, it's like the company commander said, "We're not going to do no more. We're not. We got to be careful where we step. We had to sit in that alpha because that's the alpha that told us to where we're going to be at. So one of the other things that was there, brothers and sisters, when we first moved into the alpha, when we set it up, I noticed one thing. I noticed a dead camel, a dead goat. There was dead animals in that camp. So I tried to tell my first sergeant, which I was cross attached. I was hey, hey top, this here, all these dead animals here. That's a sign that that's a sign there's some kind of agent here that's killing that kill these animals because I looked at the animals. I don't see no marks of where they got killed by a bullet or by a knife. They're just dead. So there's got to be some kind of agent here that killed them. And there were scouts, we were tanker, like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Sergeant. I'm gonna show what it's done here. So we set up the area, even though I told them that I felt that there was some kind of chemical there. The first day that they set up, the the company commander became ill, and we never seen him again for the rest of the duration there. He became ill all of a sudden, and the doctors didn't know what was the matter with him. I was sitting down by my tank. There was a little bird that landed on the ground, right? And he picked up a seed that was on the ground. As he picked up the seed and ate it, not even 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the little bird just tilted. Boom, he was dead. So I went to go tell him again. Hey, there's some agent here. That the birds are dying around my tank. They're like, it's nothing. Nothing. We're gonna show how hardcore we are. So this first sergeant, he wanted to be so hardcore that he lost half he lost half of his troops because they all became ill because of the chemicals that were out there. Some people you just can't let them know. Because I already had the experience. I know he probably had experience too, but because I've been hit by chemical agents before when I was in operations in the storm. But he lost half of the people. Half of the people got ill by an unknown. Well, they said it was an unknown thing, but I already know what it was. It was a chemical agent, and it was causing animals to die. They should have marked all that area with yellow tape or marked it as a hazardous area so nobody would set up an alpha alpha. That's what you're supposed to do. Um, you're welcome, Brother Stephen. I darn overbuilt. All of the boy. How you doing, Destiny? Um, but yeah, it was crazy. You have all the wisdom and knowledge, and just like the job of the first sergeant, or my job as a sergeant, is to train our soldiers and to protect our soldiers. Teach them the right way, how to survive a combat environment. We have to teach them how to be alert, how to be ready. Which I would train my soldiers. I train my soldiers to use the spiritual senses. I would show them certain things so they can be alert. They can sense things that are around them. To be alert just in case the enemy try to sneak up on them. That the senses will be able to alert them in time to be able to defend themselves, even when they slept. I was one of those people that if people got too close to me, they'll be on the ground because even though I might have been asleep, my body wouldn't rest. So I'll drop them. So what they would do is throw a rock at me from a distance or yell my name. Throw something at me, a water bottle or something, so to wake me up because if they got too close, when I come to there, I got to bend over with a knife or my weapon near them. You got to understand where we're at out there is a matter of life or death. So you have to train your body to be a weapon, and that's what I did. Train my body to be a weapon, and when you train your body to be a weapon, your body is alerted all 24/7, even when you rest. Man, I don't know how many people that I had to apologize to that would get too close to me when they were trying to wake me up for guard or something. That I had them bend over on the turret because I was fixing to take them out because I thought it was an enemy. Out there when we're out there, not everybody has night vision. This is nighttime. No, not everybody has night vision. It's like For a four-man crew, there's only one night vision, that each crew, each tank has. So when somebody come relieve your duty, you don't have when you wake up, you don't have your night vision on you. So you have to, when you're seeing in darkness and you're just feeling that something's around you, you have to react to that feeling. If they get too close to your body, to your energy, and you feel their energy, you react to that. Your body reacts to it, and you do what you got to do. But people learned to, if they're going to wake me up, to wake me up from a distance. Because a lot of people that got too close, they found out the hard way. Telling you, people don't understand what veterans going through. They serve the United States Army. They think it's an easy job. When you have to take a life, or destroy the enemy. But guess what it is? You went up in a battle. It's either you or them. So you have to literally. There's obstacles. The enemy's shooting at you. If the enemy's shooting at you, you're gonna shoot back, right? And it's about survival. So you got to do things out there that it's not like playing football. It's not like playing basketball. You don't go to the World Series. You don't go. You don't get come back to the following year to get a championship. All that is all for sports. This is not sport. What we do is you have one chance. You know, you go out there. They give you a mission. Either you're gonna accomplish a mission or you're gonna fail the mission, and it's about your life. So for anybody that here uh, that doesn't value life, they don't understand to carry afterwards, because we have to do things that a normal person, if they're placed in a situation, they might not do nothing about it. And if they don't do something about it, then they're not gonna care. But we're trained that way. We're trained to overcome any trials or tribulations or obstacles that place in the way. You know, that's how we train. Uh, we train to be like they call it a well-oiled machine. I call it first to nature, where you react to the situation. But anyways, enough about those areas. I'm gonna get down to the stories of the Llorona, the wailer. I don't know. I just felt I go with the flow of things, brothers and sisters. I don't have nothing written down or nothing. I just go with the flow of things. I'm sitting out here. I feel a certain breeze, and the way the breeze did, I got a jacket on. It reminded me of being out there in the desert at nighttime. So as it reminded me, it's not flashbacks. You remember. Uh, so I remember how this feels. And I said, man, this is like when I used to pull guard. And as I remember that, well, I remember what happened out there while I was pulling guard. That's why I said that. Somebody said I got a troll in the chat. Who's the troll, guys? Who's the troll in the post? Oh, you talking about Mr. Dodos? Well, sometimes it happens there, Fig Pig 3, when a soldier is exhausted because they're not getting no sleep at all for about 3 days. Their body gives out. When you're fighting a war and you have to be awake for 3 days, 4 days straight with no sleep, and you got a four-man crew, and it's 100%. 100% means that everybody's got to be awake. Sooner or later, try it. Try it. Try to stay awake for 4 days with no sleep. You sooner or later, your body's gonna shut down on you. And that's what it was. We were out there. There's no beds. There's nothing like that. We're getting that kind of rest. Uh, your body shuts down on you. I've seen it happen when people can be walking and body just falls to the ground because their body hasn't gotten no rest for about 3-4 days, and it just shuts down on them. The brain might continue to work, but the body it just shuts down. Where they're out cold. So they're out cold. Just let them sleep for about. If you see them, you let them sleep for a little bit and then wake them up. Like an hour or 2 hours, and so they can take a little cat nap. But yeah, in guard you're not supposed to be asleep. That's true. During guard you're not supposed to be asleep, but it happens. It happens that way. Just like the soldier, they want to sleep in the restroom. You get woken up in the middle of the night. Whether your shift is starts at 10, 11, 12, then early in the morning, 2, 3, and if the soldier didn't get enough rest, yeah, I could have gotten in trouble, but I was awake. It's not like we were both asleep, so I give him a chance because uh, I was still guarding the post. Uh, but I gave him a chance because in the military, rank is money, and it's very hard to obtain rank in the military. But if it would have been a real live combat situation, I don't think he would have fallen asleep because it would have been wide awake because the dangers in there's bullets fly, bullets flying around, or you're fighting with a tank. He would have been wide awake because it's about survival. Let me see who's a troll. Somebody was saying there was a troll here. Ah, with salts. No, normally, I think that was the only time that I've ever had somebody sleep on me during guard. Uh, no, you of course you got guard in the rear D, which is when you guard in the mortar pools. Like in Germany, we had to guard mortar pools. We had guard detail, but that's at the rear. There's not really that much danger. But if they catch you sleeping while you're pulling guard, that's an Article 15. They'll take your rank. I would volunteer for guard. I would make money from especially when I was in Germany on the weekends. Soldiers wanted to go out. Um, so they say, I want to go out. Would you buy my CQ? I said, how much are you paying? So I'll give you 60 marks, in which that was pretty good money. That was like $120 for one night. I'll give you 60 marks and I'll buy you something to eat. I said, okay, no problem. So I'll pull their guard, and you could say at the first year when I was in Germany, I was like a billets rat, but I was smart. I was making money. I was pulling guards. I was pulling CQs, and I was getting paid for it. That's besides what I already get paid. People were paying money to do that, so I was making some killer money, by doing that. Sometimes I pull CQ back to back. That I wouldn't sleep for 2 days when it was a weekend, and I was making some killer money, man, because they were paying good up there in Germany. Yeah, I mean, you have to be there to understand, but that was a long time ago, man. I was 19 years old. You're 19. You're bucking wild. People say you're bucking wild, but I was 19, but I wasn't really into all the drinking and stuff like that. Even though I've drunk before at a younger age, when I was a civilian, I just was in a foreign country and I just didn't trust what was out there. Yes, anything, people can disappear and nobody knows where they're at. So it's kind of like I just wanted to stay within the base when I was being protected. I'm on base, but after a while, I started going out there to the economy and with my friends, and I started meeting German people that were cool, and they would invite me to their homes, and they're I will they would come pick me up. Those two female friends of mine, Gabriela and Rosa, they were half sisters, and they would pick me up in their Mercedes Benz and their BMWs, and I was only 19 years. At that time, they had 19 years old. They come pick me up, and we'd go clubbing. I was like the chaperone. The way we met was some guys were disrespecting them, and they were just being very rude with them, and I intervened. As a matter of fact, it was a German guy that was being disrespectful to him, and I told him to leave them alone, and or I told him or else, and he looked at me, and I stood in the way between them, and he finally left them alone and walked away. So after that, I earned their trust and friendship, and they became my friends. And because I defended their honor. One of them was married, the other one wasn't. So they told them what happened and stuff like that, and everybody was cool with me. The husbands, they would come pick me up. They'll call this, and they'll come pick me up to go clubbing with them. I was like their chaperone. So they took me all around the local town, which was Erlangen, all the places where there was clubbing, right? And after that, they take me back to they owned an apartment complex, a big apartment complex, and they had a bar in the basement of the apartment complex. So we go to after parties. Man, I think I'll be drinking to like 3, 4 in the morning. And then they will have a room set up for me so I could get some rest. It was a big room with a big bed, and I just go in there. I would go spend the weekends there. They were nice people to me. But yeah, I had fun when I was in Germany. Oh, I know Germany is not a war zone. It used to be a war zone one time, where there is still buildings that have the markings of the burnings where the bombs will land. They do have underground tunnels where they have underground tunnels uh, that go through the ground all throughout Germany. Underground bases that they have when I guess Hitler had the armies underground. They will have them underground so they wouldn't get destroyed by the enemy. Um, but still, you say Germany is not a war zone. We would protect Germany the same way. We had certain areas that we were when we were allowed to train. There were certain perimeters that we had to protect in that town that that was assigned to us. It was like guarding the border. That we go out there and train. you say it was not a. You say it's not a danger zone. I'm going to tell you something. There was a female soldier, a female soldier that was living in the economy, and she went running around where she lived. She disappeared. She was never seen again. There was another soldier that he was out there uh, clubbing. He was never seen again. What people don't know is this: a lot of people disappeared in Germany that were stationed in Germany and disappeared in Germany. That till this day they're considered AWOL. Consider AWOL. And just to let you know, I can understand somebody went AWOL here in the United States. At least they know where to go because it's in in the United States. But who's going to go AWOL in a foreign country? To this day, those people are considered to be AWOL, but they were never found. So what are they saying? You're saying that Germany is not a bad place, that it's not a war zone. Well, there's people disappearing, and they've never been found. So what is that telling you? I remember, I'll share a story with you, how dangerous Germany is. I had gone out to the club, and I was walking on the sidewalk. My senses, I felt something, and I seen a car, a little car coming real slow, moving real slow, and my senses told me something that was not right. So I jumped over some bushes, and I laid flat on the ground behind the bushes. When I did that, the car sped up, pulled up real fast, and a couple of cars in front of me, two guys got off, and they had weapons. They had freaking machine guns in their hands. They were talking the German language, and they were looking. They were looking, and I was behind the bushes. I was seeing them through the bushes. I was low ground. So as they got back in the vehicles, I jumped back, went running back to the bar I was at, and I was telling the soldiers there, hey, somebody just tried to had weapons and all this, and everybody ran out of the bar to see who these guys were, but they were gone. So I went to tell the first sergeant what happened. After that, it's like nobody was allowed to go off post by themselves. They had to go in numbers, like a four. We had to go as a group of people. But there was a lot of people till this day that have disappeared in Germany. Uh, you could say Spider-Man is just a comic book, man. Spiritual senses. You gotta be in the military to understand that your senses have to be alert at all times, because you don't know when something's going to arise. You got to be ready. Your body's got to be ready to react, to the threat. Somebody throws a punch at. By the time somebody throws a punch at you, you done hit them like 10 times. That kind of reaction. That they think that they're going to get the best of you, but you already hit them 10 times and they're out. They're out cold. And they could be seriously injured by the time you're done. That kind of reaction. It's a lot different. Uh, Yeah, I know there's gangsters and stuff like that in Chicago. What do you think is in Germany? There's just some of the Germans, there's a lot of the Germans that look at Americans and they'll tell them straight, look at us and say, "Fuck you, Americans," because they lost family members through that time when we were out there fighting against them. So there's some Germans that are nice, and there's some Germans that dislike Americans. Uh, but it is when there's war. There's still people that hate America to this day from other countries. That dislike Americans. I had a sergeant that was married to a German, and her her father was in the war. And um, when they invited me to go to his house, uh, and I met him. He was from the war, and he showed me all the Kevlars. The Kevlars that they were made out of metal, and he showed me all the Kevlars of all his friends that died in combat, where you could see where the bullet went in through the Kevlar that left a hole, and he had them on display in his house as honor of the people that fought with alongside with him. And he was fighting for Hitler. Uh, he showed me all these things. I just seen that. So no, it's just regular people. It's just everybody's got a cause what they fight for, right? Just like there's Americans that dislike people that take the oath to serve the country. I would say for everybody to take the oath and serve at least 2 years. So the Germany, they serve 2 years. Everybody serves 2 years in the military. They take an oath. By their law, they have to serve the government. So if all the people that are here in the United States will take an oath to serve at least 2 years to get an understanding of what it is about, then they would understand, what it is about. Missing, AWOL. That's what they declared it, AWOL. They can't be considered missing if there's no body found. So till this day, they consider AWOL. I'm more sure there's an archive somewhere of all the soldiers that disappeared, that was never found, that never made it back to the United States from a foreign country. It happens, man. When I seen that movie, what was it? Hostel. I don't know if y'all remember the movie Hostel. All right. The tourists will go over there. They get kidnapped, disappeared, and tortured. Well, that's what reminds me of the people that disappeared, because nobody knows what happened to them. Nobody knows what happened to them. Nobody Nobody knows. They just know that they went AWOL. And I'm like, who in the right mind is going to go AWOL in a foreign country they don't even know? But that's what they got them down as. It's kind of like the people that are missing from Vietnam. They consider them POWs or missing in action, right? Well, in this case, there was no war, so they got them considered as AWOL because they had never reported back to the unit, so they consider them AWOL. That's the term they give when somebody goes missing or leaves they leave their unit while they're still serving. They consider them AWOL. Not as they come back, they'll lift the AWOL status, but they'll get punished for for going AWOL. They take the rank, they'll do some extra duty as punishment for going AWOL. Because they basically abandoned their oath of serving the United States Army. And some of them get chaptered out of the military, because maybe what their training or what their witness has bothered them, that they become conscious objectors, where they say that's not their religion and stuff like that, and those people normally get when they release them, they get a dishonorable discharge. That's what they do, dishonorable discharge. They're deserters, but they don't have the body, right, to find out. Like in Germany, all the people that were missing, they consider them to be AWOL. That's all I remember. There's a lot of strange events like that would happen over there, not just where I was in Germany, but all throughout Germany, where people were missing. People went up disappearing. Nobody knew what happened to them, and they never made it back to the States. Um, I was just sharing the stories for you when I was in Germany. I was before man, the Llorona story is falling way back. I mean, since y'all interested in of this conversation, there was this. I'm gonna tell you, there was this club, right? It was the clubs closed in Germany at 2 in the morning, right? So as I was leaving the club, I see some people going into a downstairs into a different club right beside the club I was at, and it was already closing hours. So I followed the people in there, and as soon as I stepped in the building, freaking they closed the big door, and it was a metal door. They put a big old chain on it with a big old padlock, and I'm there like, what the hell's going on in here? So I'm looking at there, and then you got all these people, and it's a bar, and there's couples there, right? Next thing you know, the couples they start going with different couples within the club, and they start going at it. What I'm talking about, they start going at it like sexually, and I'm freaking out. I'm a 19 years old. Like, what the hell is this? And I had a bad feeling about it. It's like, man, what they're going to turn into. That feeling where you get late at night. You're like, what is going on? So I'm the only American in here, or am I going to be the target? So the guy that's guarding the gate or the front that door that's metal, that sucker's like 6'9", big old dude. I say, hey man, I gotta go. I didn't know what this club was about. I just followed the people down, and all these things are happening in here. So I went out. I have to go pull CQ tomorrow. He was looking at me, and he's just looking at me, and he finally unlocks it and lets me out. But I just had to get out of there because I didn't know what's going to happen afterwards. I just didn't want to be part of that. Something told me to get out of there, and I did. There was some crazy stuff happening over there in Germany. See, who's this troll that we got in here about eating kids? Okay, I'll remove the troll. Okay, I remove the troll, y'all. Uh, yeah, I'm more sure. I mean, in those countries, I think those where they got the Hansel and Gretel. There's a lot of things, just like the United States. I'm more sure there was a lot of things people were doing over there that was not good. So I never got to witness anybody eating any children. But when I was in combat, I witnessed how should I say, an area that we were passing where we are going to fight the Medina Republican Guard before we went into combat, where there was women and children that had gotten murdered by the Medina Republican Guard. See, people never talk about that because it wasn't there. The media don't want to say that innocent women and children were killed because they want to stick to the agenda. They're trying to let the media, they like to protect the enemy for some reason. Uh, Try to give a reason where the enemy does what it does. Like because it dwell in negativity. Um, but yeah, when we seen the dead women and children, it was a certain area where we traveled through because we were going to fight the Medina Republican Guard. When I seen that, and everybody seen that, there was a lot of the people that were on the tanks. They are the fathers. They have their own families. They seen that. I'm a brother. I have my brothers and sisters. I seen the dead woman and children, and in my mind, I said it to myself that when we go face this enemy that killed this woman and children, innocent women and children, that we're not going to have no mercy on them. We're going to do what we got to do because of the evil works that they did. And that's what we did in combat. We took care of the enemy. You're welcome, Gordo. Okay, now let me get to the story of the Llorona. La Llorona. Everybody know. I'm going to tell you what the Llorona is about before I start. The Llorona is a folklore legend. Hey, you're welcome to everybody that's here. I was in combat in Operation Desert Storm in the Battle of Medina Ridge in the front lines, fighting the Medina Republican Guard, which was Saddam Hussein's most elite army. How elite were they? That Russia went in there to fight them, and they ran Russia away out of the country. Russia was malnutritioned, and they lost a lot of people fighting the Medina Republican Guard, which was Saddam Hussein's army, which they were the best of the best. So we faced the best of the best army that he had, which they already had a record, right, of what they did to Russia. But when they encountered us, they found out that that wasn't that bad, that there was somebody better. So I just leave it at that. uh, but that's what I fought. I was in the Battle of Medina Ridge. Look it up. The Battle of Medina was the largest tank battle out there in Operation Desert Storm. It was tank to tank battle. So there was nothing but the sand and the enemy in front of us. And if you want to talk more about that, I'll talk about that before I go to the Llorona. Uh, I was a driver, right? Their tanks could shoot, I believe it was like 2,400 or 500 meters. I'm thinking 2,600 or 400 or 500, somewhere around there, 600. Our tanks could shoot a little bit further. So the game plan when we fought the Medina Republican Guard was to use the gap because our tanks could shoot further, to use that gap as a comfort zone in between to keep that, whether it was 500 meters in between us, so we could touch them and they couldn't touch us. So as we were doing that and we were fighting in the battle, I could see the rounds of the T-72s where they're coming towards our tank and they run out of elasticity and they land in the sand. It was like going to the cinema watching a 3D movie on the big screen. Well, I seen it live because I was a driver. Uh, they shot at us first with I believe it was field artillery that landed behind us, and I was field artillery and a combination of an underground obstacle where I see nothing but white powder, which I believe was anthrax. And we jumped in our tanks and we moved forward. We started spotting them. My tank shot the first tank out there in that battle on Medina Ridge because my gunner did a defilate tank. A defilate tank is a tank that's buried half of the hull is buried underground, and the only thing that's sticking out of the ground is a turret. they were ready for us. They were dug in position. Um, my gunner spotted it. He got permission to shoot at it. When he shot at it, it looked like this. Is what it looked like from 3,000 meters. That's a lot of football fields, right? It looked like this. Let me see. I can light it up. Maybe it allows me to light it up. That's all we see from that far of a distance. It would look like this. When you get a confirmed kill, the tank will blow up and it will light up. So it looked like a flame where the tank was burning from that distance. So we kept on IDing them and we kept on shooting them. There were some that were dug in. There were some on the ground. They were shooting at us, but the rounds were missing us. There because we had the gap in between us. We you got to play them smart, man. You can't just go in there and try to go for the touchdown right off the bat, right? You have to play it smart. We played it smart, and as we continue to move forward, see, I'm not just Brother HCS. I'm a combat veteran, and I can talk about where I was at like it was yesterday. So we're rolling, and all you see is that kind of light everywhere, where all the tanks are burning. That the numbers were stacked against us. They had 7 other tanks to one of ours from our front line. Of course, we had other waves that were ready behind us. What happens in combat, brothers and sisters, what people don't understand is this: where I was at in the front line, the first people that go to fight are the first wave or the first line of combat, right? And those are the first ones that die also, right? So nobody wants to go in the front line. So you have a second wave, a third wave of armor waiting to go just in case that the front line gets defeated or destroyed. Well, we didn't get destroyed. We kept that gap in between us, and we kept on destroying the Medina Republican Guard. And as we started going past that gap, because there was order to go further up. But as we were going further up, there was people that were coming out of the ground, out of underground bunkers, and some of them, you know, when they would come out, they'd pop right in front of my tank as I'm rolling, going 5 miles an hour. So as soon as they will pop up, they will fall down, where they would die because the tank hit them in the chest, hit them in the stomach. They will fall down. Uh, I would see what people were coming out in numbers from holes in the ground, the underground obstacles, and I had to protect my crew. I would see them because from all the smoke from the burning tanks, the smoke rises. They couldn't see them. So when I would see a lot of people coming out of the holes, guess what I would do? I would run over the hole. So whatever was in the hole was gone. And I ran over a lot of underground obstacles where people were coming out, just put it that way. There was one that came out of a hole, and they jumped on top of my tank, right? And this one was weird. When we talk about the gen, uh, the way he came out of the hole was like a snake. The way he was moving, he looked at me and he jumped on top of my tank. Like he literally jumped, just slept on top of my tank, like he had some kind of superhuman strength. He's looking at me. My hatch is closed, but I'm looking him through my sights. And on me, on my chest, I have a personal 9 mil, right? A 9 millimeter weapon. Everybody had a personal weapon on them. Um, this guy's looking at me. His eyes are yellowish. I don't know if it's because he was in a hole so long or something that when the sun hit him or whatever hit him, it made his eyes color change. But he was looking at me and he was weapon. And then he had an AK-47 in his hand. He looked at my crew. They couldn't see him because of the smoke of the burning tanks. So when he was laughing, he picked up his AK-47 to shoot at my crew. I pulled out my nine. My nine was already on fire. It was ready to utilize. Open up the hatch, and I said, "Hey!" And he looked down. When he looked down, that's it. Right in between the eyes, man. Boom! He fell off the tank. And when I shot them, they were shooting at me. All the people that were coming out of the ground, they were shooting at me. The bullets were ricocheting, hitting behind me, on the hole. I mean, on the turret. And thank God that, I mean, there was a lot of bullets coming away. They're trying to, kill me, and I closed my hatch. I just thank Lord Jesus Christ that all those bullets that were ricocheting around me were missing. Uh, I could have been killed, but I had to protect my crew. So I kept on going forward, and our tank had, uh, our tank had, how should I say, our tank had s- smoke. It had a capability of using smoke. We use smoke as a smoke screen, right? Um, none of our soldiers died. None of our company. None of our soldiers died. It was nothing but the enemy. Uh, we didn't keep count of that. There was a body bag detail for that later on, but I wasn't involved in the body bag detail of the confirmed kills. Uh, but they were all on the ground, man, sitting there. You could see their bodies and laying on the ground. But when you're up there in the front lines and you're told to stay there for another 2 3 days, you see all the dead bodies. Not just that. I'll get to the other thing later. But uh, yeah, I remember when we used a smoke generator that we have for smoke screens because it told us to cease fire and to back up. So we turn on the smoke screen and we start backing up, right? And out of the smoke, I seen a lieutenant from that army running through the smoke in fear. You can see the fear in his face. He was missing an arm, and the blood was just gushing out of his arm. Uh, that's something that I'll never forget. That the look he had in his face, missing the arm. I believe he passed away. I don't know. I don't know what happened to the guy. In combat, people live and people die, and the only thing you got is the memories that you have to live with that for the rest of your life, right? Uh, but that's what happened. Then they called what do you call it? That what is it? A certain airplane. I can't remember the name of it on the top of my head right now. Uh, and we called this certain airplane, and it comes down straight from the sky like this. And when it hits its target, it goes. The weapon system it has, it makes this weird noise. It's like, man, it's popped all kinds of stuff in front of us. I just can't remember the name of it right now. But I seen that it was our tanks. We had that kind of support. We had artillery support, and we had chopper support that was hovering over us. Choppers were on top of us, also fighting in that war. Is somebody, another person, coming in here infiltrating? Talking about stolen valor. Who's the one's talking about stolen valor? Let me see. Yeah, I'm thinking if this people. Yeah, there you go, a warhog. That's what it was. Thank you, man. I was getting a brain fart. A warhog. That's what it does. It comes from the sky, but it's got another name also, like the name of numbers. I just remember the name of it on top of my head. But we had that kind of support, man. The warhog. That's vicious, man. When they called that, and we see what it did, it's like that comes from the sky. Yeah, there you go. It comes straight. It comes straight down, man. It is like whatever's there. Underground obstacle. Uh, uh, Freaking a mine. We had to go through a mine obstacle before we went to fight the Medina Republican Guard, which we call the engineers. The engineers came support. They sent out this like I can't remember the name of it. It's like a big old line that they said like a hook, and it flies, and that line, it blows up everything, and they cleared a big path for us through this big mine obstacle that they had built. So we won't be able to cross. They clear that up, you know. I think it's called a toll or something like that. Uh, yeah. So there was a lot of people, you know, for the war. It's not just about us. It's about the support, like the engineers, the warhog, artillery, the of course the mechanics to keep the tanks going, uh, the support of the people that bring us the ammo. You know, those people put themselves on the line because as the war is going, we had to reload with ammo again. So the other company was beside us. They moved forward to fight, and we had to move back to upload more ammo to put more ammo to fight in the war. You know, so the people that come give us the ammo, they place their life in the line because they're out there in the open, giving us ammunition, giving us the support of giving us reloading saber rounds, seat rounds. You know, and we're moving fast to do all this. You know, working as a team. But even then, when you're doing that, that's dangerous because they can drop artillery on you or they can shoot you. You know, because you're out there in the front lines of the open. So those people, my respects to the people that did that job. You know, because that's valor by itself. Just bringing the ammo to us to be able to fight, and of course everything else, the support of anybody else that's out there. You know, supporting us. That's you know all that is. We all need all that in order for us to be able to accomplish our mission. There's the engineers they launched one across that obstacle, and he had like a white stream on it, right? And they blew up the obstacle to clear the passageway of the biggest. It was a big obstacle that they cleared for us, so we were able to cross. They sent us first to cross it because in the front of our tank we had a. It's supposed to be a mine plow, you know. They created a mine plow. I think I have a picture of it, of that mine plow, where we drop it and we just go in the sand. So if there's any mines that's going to explode anything, it'll explode the plow, right? So we use that to clear the path. And once we clear the path, then after the engineers had already cleared it, everybody followed behind our trails to cross that obstacle. Somebody said, "What are you doing for Christmas holiday weekend?" I don't know what I'm doing for Christmas holiday weekend. I know I was out there for Christmas holiday weekend. back then, uh, back then, I spent Christmas over there in Kuwait. We got we took a little cargo airplane that is the seats were made out of just net, you know, and we could see our pallets of our equipment behind inside that plane. Uh, we're sitting side by side, like real close. To use the restroom, people had to climb over people just to go use the restroom, but you could hear the walls moving. You know, that's how we flew over there. We didn't fly in style. You know, you could say we're the ones that paved the way for all the other soldiers because when we went out there, that was we made our own path. You know, there was no, there was nothing there, nothing there. We went there was just to us. It was just a different. It was in our territory, it was their territory, but we went and made our own path to make it to where we were going to fight. And Jordan, okay, okay, I'll remove him. Okay, I got rid of Jordan. Uh, Now, can we get back to the Llorona story? The- I'm talking about all the things of combat and stuff. You know, like I said, I have a good memory. You know, what's weird is when you try to get help for PTSD and stuff like that, they don't want you to talk about what you've seen or what you've done. The only thing they tell you is, uh, we just want you to take our medicines. They want to put you on medicines, you know, because they don't want you to talk about what you see, what you've been through. They don't want people to know what you saw, what you've been through. They don't want you to. Man, there's so many other stories, you know. But basically, the guy that I had to eliminate with a personal weapon, I spent one round out of my M9 mil, you know, confirmed right off right here. Well, when after the battle, you have to report your ammo count, how much ammo you wasted. And in that ammo count that we sent, I said 1 9 mil bullet. My platoon sergeant didn't believe me that I used 1 round in combat. So they were trying to tell me that I lost my bullet. This was trying to tell me this during combat. They tried to tell me that they were going to give me an Article 15 for losing my bullet. I said, look, I didn't lose my bullet. I used my bullet. And they're like, no, we're going to give you an Article 15 for losing your bullet. I said, okay, you don't believe me? Go down the tank trail that we drove. And as you follow down the track trail, right in the center of the tracks, because that's where the guy fell, there's going to be a soldier. If you look right here, he's going to have 1 bullet right here. The first sergeant, the platoon sergeants that got in the vehicle, that drove down the tank trail, when they come back, they're looking at me and they got this weird look in their face, like they're freaked out that that's that I used my bullet properly. You know, I used it to take out the person that was trying to take out my crew. And after that, they left me alone. That's messed up, you know, that you're in a place in a combat situation. You have to utilize the weapons that you have. And then these guys are trying to give me an Article 15 for using my bullet to protect my crew. And I had to prove to them that my bullet was used in that way. Well, they found that soldier that had the bullet in the forehead. Uh, so they left me alone. Well, that's to the guy that I used my personal 9, you know. But let me get back to the story of the Llorona, man. I'm wide awake right now. I can keep on going. You're welcome, Alexandria. Yeah, I've been through a lot, you know. I'm a combat soldier that, as a tanker, you know, the commercial that I witnessed before I joined the military, you know, I wasn't too bright because I was going half a day to schools because I had to work 2 jobs, so I wasn't really too interested in school. So my ASVAB score wasn't too high. Not maybe if I would have focused on it, I could have got it higher. But they told me, well, you could be a cook. I said, well, what else is there? I said, well, what are you interested in? I said, well, I see a commercial where on TV where there's this tank, and the tank is flying and goes over through some mud and it flies over this little hill. I want to do that job. I said, oh, sure, no problem. But you see, I didn't know that by serving in the tank that I was going to be stuck in the front lines. But that's what I wanted to do because of the commercial that you know, they used to show commercials like that back in the 80s of the tanks and stuff like that. Well, that's why I joined. But I'm just sharing my stories. I know there's people that are trolls and stuff like that, but they do that because that's what they are. That's what they do. They're trolls. They never been in here that are knowledgeable. You talking? Do you want to see my identification? I don't got my wallet on me right now. I'm outside. I do have my old military ID. I do have my DD-214. Where maybe one day I'll share that information with you. When I serve for my country, it's the DD-214's got all the information. It's got where I've been. It's got all my ribbons. It's got the year that I started in the military, the year that I departed the military. So I do got my this DD-214. That's what you're looking for. You see, somebody of stolen valor don't know about no DD-214. Uh, I still got my old military ID when I was a sergeant in the military that I kept. Not that I kept it, I had lost it in the field. They gave me the new one. I turned in the new one when I left, but then The when I left the military, I found my ID that I had lost. It was still in my BDUs, so I kept that as a souvenir. Um, there's many different ways and forms you can show people that they're calling out that you didn't serve. For example, like I said, if you have an old card, if you have the VA card, I have a VA card where I go to the VA as a veteran. My DD 214, and also, of course, uh, you can show your certificates of medals like the Arcoms, where you've been in combat. I got those certificates too. So I got many forms I could show. Maybe one day I'll show them here. I've shown them before already. If you look, as a matter of fact, whoever's questioning me about this, look through look through here, and there's going to be a here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. There's going to be a video where I'm showing my proof. Here, it's here. Look for it. You'll find it. The evidence is right there. I believe that I was talking about. There's a video that I talk about stolen valor, how people are pretenders and they're not showing the proof of where they've been. Well, I made a video where I'm showing my proof, and it's here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Look it up. It's dealing with stolen valor, and I show my DD 214. I show my card that I said that I kept. I show my VA card. I show everything there. So it's here. Okay, let's go to the Llorona now. I just been distracted. I threw myself off track. Let's talk about the Llorona. The Llorona is dealing with a legend. It's a legend. It's a Mexican folklore, right? It's dealing with a woman that had children, and she was seeing a married man, and she thought that this married guy she was messing with was going to leave his wife for her, right? But the married man didn't leave his wife. He told her he didn't want to be with her that way. So the woman got mad and she drowned her children in the river. She drowned her children. As she drowned her children, God punished her. To Her punishment was to roam earth to look for her children. That's where the legend of the Llorona comes from. Um, okay, let me get rid of this guy here. I got rid of the whole guy. I done told him that I have a video that here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters where I show my information. So if you don't want to search for it, well, he's out of here. I kicked him out. Well, uh, the legend of the Llorona is this: that she roams Earth, whether it's a creek, any form of water, body of water, and if you have children that are not baptized, that the Llorona must show up to your house, where she goes after children that are not baptized, and since she was seeing a man that was married and the man didn't want to be with her, she goes after men that are being unfaithful to their wives. That's when she shows up. The Llorona. She goes after the children and gets the children, takes the children that are not baptized. So, in saying that, I want to share a story of, because I will hear the tale of her, and I said, well, just a story, right? It's just folklore. So, it was one evening that it was raining real hard, and where I live, like 3 blocks down, there's a canal, which is a man-made uh, canal where it stores water, right? So it was raining real hard this evening. It was raining real hard, and I'm in my room asleep, and I hear in the distance through the rain that's landing real hard, somebody crying. So I get up, and I look, and it's all just my imagination. Then I hear something else, and it rings, makes my ears ring real loud, like a low pitched sound, And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I look out the window, and I don't see nobody. So I go back, lay down. As I'm laying down, I hear the crying getting closer to my house, and it sounded like this. It sounded like this. Uh, like somebody is mourning. And it sounded louder and louder and louder till they got to the door of of my room, the door that goes into my room from the outside, and they're wailing, they're crying. Uh, Let me go get me something real quick here. Excuse me for that. So there's somebody crying outside my front door, and they're wailing real hard. And the first thing, right? That's a Llorona. So I jump out of my bed, go to the next room where my brothers are sleeping on a bunk bed, and I tell brothers, the Llorona is here. My brothers are asleep. They're like, there's no Llorona. There's no Llorona. The Llorona passes right by the window. The Llorona, she wears like a white veil, like a white gown, a white dress, and she passed right by the window, wailing. They jump out out of the bunk beds. They're like, "Oh shit, it's a Llorona." So we all running, all three brothers. We were running because our house was long, so we're running to where our mom is, where my little sister was born. My little sister was only like 3 weeks old. So as you about to tell, she goes after children that are not baptized. So I'll go grab my little sister, and I tell my mother. I say, "Hey, the Llorona's here," and my brothers are saying, "Yeah, she's here, she's here." And my mom's like, "There ain't no Llorona. There's no Llorona here." You see the Llorona dressed in white pass by the window, and she's wailing, and she's seen her. And my mom says, "Oh shoot!" And she gets up, gets on her knees, and she starts praying. So we're all praying. We're all praying to our Father, praying against the Llorona. Llorona stands in front of the front door of our house, and she's wailing and wailing and just this ugly wailing, and the door's wiggling like she's trying to come in, and I'm there like trying to open it or not, and my mom's like, "Stupid kid, get away from the door! Don't touch that door." And she's wailing there for about 5-10 minutes, and then the Llorona goes through her front yard, out through the link fence, like literally goes through the fence, in which she's like in disembodied form, right, like a ghost-like form. Uh, and as she goes through the fence, she goes up the street. We all go out of our house to see where she's going. We see her going up the street, and as this, there's the block in front of us. There's a highway. Next thing you know, you hear like some brakes and like a big something crash into something. So we gather stuff and we go check it out to see what's going on. There's a 16-wheeler that flipped sideways and he ran into an Exxon gas station. So the cops are there and they're trying to find out if what's going on. The truck driver's there, and they ask the truck driver if he's drinking and stuff like that. And this what happened. The truck driver said, "Look, I was driving. I seen this woman in white pass in front of me. I didn't want to hit her, so as I moved my steering wheel a certain way, my truck was, I lost control of the truck because of the rain and all that. It lost control of the truck. Uh, but the body of the Llorona was never found." Uh, that's my experience that I had of the Llorona, where she was wailing. This is like in the year is in the 70s. Like I would say and my sister was 2. Uh, this is like, no, it's not even the 70s. It's like 1982 when this happened. This happened in South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley. I come from a small town called Raymondville, Texas, which is nearby the border of Mexico. That's where I'm originally from. What got me up here in Temple, Texas was, of course, what I just said, the military. What was near Temple, Texas is Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas. I lived in Killeen, Texas from 2001 all the way to 2016 before I got married and I moved to Temple. But I lived in Killeen, Texas, which is Fort Hood. Now it's called Fort Cavazos. Oh, okay. We got another one, baby. I think that's Michael. Adrian Peterson. Let me send you away, Adrian Peterson. Yeah, the Bebe one. That's Michael Peterson, or I call him They got this cool call normal AI, abnormal investigations. I think that he's talking about crackhead is because he is a crackhead. Uh, he be bumming people, he be deceiving people, and people will be giving him money for his high. That's why he's talking about crack. So I sent him out of here. He likes to troll people with fake profiles. But you see, he was talking about meth. Is because what he does in his side, in his group that he's got, he's always talking about he's going through something. He wants people to donate money to him. Like you could say, he's hustling the people for money because for through donations, so he can get his next high. That's why he was talking about meth. You seen that, right? That guy Bebe, that's him with the fake profile, and he's talking about meth because that's what he does. He's probably high right now talking about it, even though trying to interrupt my life, but he's thinking about it. That's why he was saying that. His real name is Michael Steven. Uh, Michael McGee or some crap. I don't know what his name is. I really don't care about the guy. But yes, that's why he was saying that. Oh, yes. There was one time, and there was another time from the same canal. I heard all kinds of commotion where people were yelling in the middle of the night when it was raining. And it was further up the street, near the canal, where people were saying they had her trapped, had the Llorona trapped in a big building. It's kind of one of those outdoor buildings where they put the tractors, like they do mechanic work and stuff like that. And they had it surrounded with people. People were surrounding it and said, "We got her trapped. We got her trapped. She's in here. She's here in this building. We got her trapped. She went in there. She hasn't come out. We got her trapped." So when they opened the doors and opened up everything, it's surrounded by like 20, 30 people. There's nothing in there because the Llorona is in disembodied form. She's a spirit. So there was nothing in there. It was just the building itself, ghost-like. And when she appears, she's always crying. She's always wailing, looking for her children. And what she's saying, mis hijos, like some people say she says mis hijos. I heard her say something of that nature, but I just heard the wailing. The wailing by itself is horrific, where it hurts your freaking ears, makes your ring real bad. It's just a horrific sound. I've heard her numerous times, even where I used to live in Elms Grove. One time, I heard her wailing through the creek, and me and my nephew were out there. There was foggy, and we seen her. We seen her in white, walking the edge of the creek, dressed in white, wailing, and then like my nephew says, always say, "Hey, tell him the story about the Llorona when we seen her out here." We heard her wailing, and we seen her walking by the creek. I've heard stories where people talk about that she even floats on the water, of rivers, canals, or whatever, where there's a body source. Uh, we're up in Colorado, and my dad stopped on a bridge where there was a lot of water underneath it. And he said, "Let's see if the Llorona shows up, you know." And he was saying, calling out the Llorona and all this. And then from a distance, you could hear somebody wailing, and the wailing started getting louder and louder and louder. And then we got off that bridge. But that legend is very real. She does exist spiritually. Is that you again there, AI looking for meth? And now it's called Living Dead. Living Dead Meth. Is that you again? Yeah, that guy, he just likes tracking people down. See, you should get me as an example, buddy. Talk real stories. You already see my video of where I've been in combat and stuff. I got it here on this site. If you look it down, I talk about valor, or I think I talk about stolen valor, how to prove you're a veteran, and I show the proof. If you look at all the titles of all the videos, you'll find it here where the proof. I have my proof. I'll show I am. But yes, uh, we would always keep our house protected. We uh, crosses from Palm Sunday that were blessed by the priest. We would keep them on the doorways and on the windows, so no unclean spirits could come into our house. In that nature, we will protect things, and I followed suit throughout the years of doing the spiritual crosses on doorways and the windows of my home, where nothing is able to come in because I'm protecting my foundation. You have to take authority over things like that in that nature. If I were to see the Llorona coming my way, I would tell her, I tell you by the rebuke of Jesus Christ's name, and she will flee, just like anything else that's unclean will flee. When you bring Jesus Christ into the picture, she will flee. Uh, when I was in Fort Hood, I had encounters there also with in that nature, and in Fort Owen, California, we're in a situation where, because all over there in the ground everything looks black, so you could be in the desert. There's cracks in the earth called wadis, which are like 10, 15, 20 foot drops into the ground. We were training at nighttime, and as we were training, our I had a how should I say, a vision, and something told me to traverse my turret, which is the main gun tube. I traversed it to the left, and when I traversed it to the left, our tank went like this, like it was gonna flip over, but it stopped. So we're stuck in a situation where we're almost flipped over, and I'm sitting on the gun tube. My loader's sitting on the wall. We're all like in an angle like this, like we're gonna flip. And my loader is the driver is stepping on the brakes. He put the parking brake, and he's crying because he's scared. And I told him, hey, just calm down, relax. Everything's gonna be okay. So we called through the intercom, the intercom, uh, to that we needed help. That we know where we're at, but that we need help because the tank was gonna flip. So they say, okay, we're going on the way, try to find you and stuff like that. So as we're sitting there, I'm trying to keep everybody calm. My tank commander wants to jump off the tank, and I grab him, and I told him that's not what we're supposed to do. What we're supposed to do when the tank's going to flip over is hold on to something. You're not supposed to jump out of the tank, because if it flips, it's going to crush you, right? You're going to get crushed. You're going to die. So I said, just stay inside the tank, uh, and wait till we get help. You know. So we're there, and as we're there sitting down, and I'm trying to keep everybody calm, this is what we hear. We talk about the Llorona, right? We're in Fort Owen, California, training, right? In the middle of nowhere at nighttime, and we're fixing to flip over. This is what we hear. We hear a woman crying, a woman crying around our tank. She's wailing, and My driver was Puerto Rican. He said, "Do you hear there, Sarge? Do you hear there, Sarge?" I said, "Yeah, I hear it. Don't worry about it." He's like, "What the f is that?" And everybody in the crew's all scared. What is that? I said, "Don't worry about it." I start praying the Our Father. I said, "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." I start praying, and you could hear the woman crying around the tank. I said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "Well, what is that?" "It's just death." I told him, "It's just death that's crying around us right now because something can happen and something might not happen. So that's what we have to pray." But I believe it's death that's crying around us right now. And my driver's crying. He had barely joined the military. He's 19, 18. He's crying. And we're there. Then we hear somebody bang on the tank after about 30 minutes. They told us to turn on their headlights because when you're out there training, where we have the blackouts. Blackouts means you have no lights. It's all blackouts. It's all in the darkness. Uh, so the only way you can see the blackouts of other vehicles is through your thermal vision, through the thermal sights of the tank. Uh, so we got a call from the people that's, that are in charge of our training out there for us to turn on our headlights so they can be able to see where we're at. And they couldn't see us, but one of the tanks, his name was Sergeant Robinson. He found us, and we have it's called a cable tow that each tank has. So if we hook it up to the back of the tank, just in case we have to pull somebody out, like of a mud pit or something like that. Well, he hooked us up to the rear of the tank, and hooked it up to his tank, so to hold our tank from flipping over. So that's how we were there like that till they surfaced up. And they told us to get off our tank. We literally slid off our tank like it was a slide. That's how kind of position we were in. The driver was crying. He was like smoking cigarettes, but we were okay. It's like when you went up in a moment like that anything can happen. And of course, death was around, and we heard death, or you want to call her the wailer, or the lady that controls the balance that's crying. So be it. She was there, or whatever it was that's there. But nobody, by me keeping the crew inside the tank, nobody got seriously injured because they could have gotten injured if the weight of the people went a certain way, it would have balanced the tank over. So thank God everybody stayed in their position and we survived that. Uh, but yes, that was an experience that I had of that is a whaler also, like a Llorona, or people call them the whaler. They call them, I believe, banshees in other countries. And they're when there's something bad is going to happen. So how do you prevent from something bad to happen? You go into prayer and you do what you're trained to do. Is not leap out of the tank to put yourself in a situation that is going to flip and everybody's going to get hurt in some kind of way or another. Uh, but yes, what's weird about that is that I had a picture, an image that popped into my mind, and something told me to traverse the tank to the left. So when the sun rose, and, and we wanted to see what the situation of the tank was, what was holding the tank from flipping over was a gun tube. When I traversed it to the left, the gun tube got stuck in the dirt, and it was a gun tube got stuck in the sand that was holding the tank up. If I wouldn't have followed my instincts and traversed the turret to the left, we would have flipped, and we would have not been here right now. It was like a 50-foot drop into the crack in the earth. Uh, so, since it's our tank, we're supposed to recover it. So we had to use 288s, which are mechanic recovery vehicles, to bring the tank down from that position. When we were bringing it down into that drop, we lost our tracks. So when we brought it down way down in the bottom of there, we had to put the tracks back in our tanks to be able to get out of there. In which we spent like half a day trying to do all that. but it was my instincts that I seen the image of me traversing the tank that made me traverse the tank that prevented us from flipping upward. I follow my spiritual instinct, brothers and sisters. And I can say how many times my spiritual instincts uh, has saved me. That while I was in the military, it saved me numerous times. How you doing, Ryan Grin? How you doing? Well, the Heavenly Father blesses us with his spiritual gifts. With spiritual gifts, he shows us things ahead of time. There was another time in that area. If you look forward, a lot of people died through training there. That's one of the most dangerous places where soldiers have died in training. Uh, there was another time like that that happened to me when I was already a gunner. I was a gunner, and I was with this guy named. I was a driver. I was a driver at that time, and we were driving, and we had gotten lost. It's when I was like 20 years old, 2021. We had gotten lost in the desert out there in Fort Orwin, and the TC didn't know where we're at. So we're driving, and I seen an image of something. What I seen was an image of a cliff, and I hit the brakes, and the TC got mad. The TC got mad, and he said, "Why did you stop the tank? I didn't tell you to stop the tank." Sergeant, I just seen an image. I see an image of a cliff that we're gonna fall over." And they said, "Move forward, move forward." I said, "Sarge, can you please just take a look? Normally, when I get a vision like this, it's 100% correct." He's like, "What the f are you talking about?" So, okay, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off. He got off, and he walked to the front of the tank, and he had the CVC on, and he said, "Listen to me. This is what I want you to do." He, he said, "Keep your foot on the brake, put the tank on reverse, and move it very, very slowly back." So I'm moving it very slow back. And he like ground guided me out of where we're at, right? Like he literally was on the ground and made me backtrack for a very long distance. When the sun rose, he was looking at me and he was smoking a cigarette. He said, "Do you want to know where we're at?" I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, last night. Do you know where we're at?" I said, "No." And he pointed. There's a mountain ridge where a lot of people have died, and we were up there on the mountain ridge where the road dies, and it's a cliff. He said we were up there on top of the road. The tank was already a little bit off that road, like it was. If I wouldn't have stopped it, that we would have flipped over and fallen, and we would have died. Uh, it's like things like that, brothers and sisters, that I remember of. That I'm still here, that I follow my spiritual instincts. That makes me the person that I am. This gift I've had it all my life, and I've used it numerous times. Whether it be there, whether it be living in here amongst the living, I follow my instincts. But I ain't gonna say my instincts. I'll say Jesus Christ, because He's the one that sent the image to let me know that I was in danger. Jesus Christ has saved me. I'll leave it at that. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, uh, and all power to Him. When He shows you something like that, He's not showing it to you for no reason. He's showing it to you because He's looking out for you. People always tell me that they don't believe in Jesus Christ, that He's not around. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've seen this. I've seen Him. I'm sharing my testimonies with y'all of His abilities. That He's guided me. He showed me. He saved me. You know, numerous times he saved me while I was in the military, or the 10 years I served. He saved me in that manner. There was another one. I'm going to tell you, it is dealing with the military. I know I'm getting off topic now of the Llorona because I shared my story of the Llorona. Uh, no, when you talk spiritually and you're talking out of your heart, of your truthfully, it just comes with the flow of things, right? It comes naturally. Um, I'm trying to. I know I was going to share something with you all about the instincts of the work. Okay, we were in Fort Hood, Texas. There's a range called Clabber Creek Range, which is where we go train as a platoon, right? And all four tanks are set up, and we all got go down range as a platoon, shooting targets, simultaneously. Well, I was a loader at that time, and we have flags. You have the green flag and the red flag. They're green to green, and then you have the red flag where you're Redcon 1 that you're ready to go down range. Well, we had the Redcon run the red flag because we're all going down as a platoon. And as we're going down range shooting targets, same thing happened. Something told me spiritually to duck down. I follow my spiritual instincts. I duck down, and I hear something. When I go back up, I'm looking. The flag, the red flag, had three bullet holes where one of the tanks shot at us accidentally, and the flag had three bullet holes. And if I would have ducked down, those bullets would have hit me because I was right by the flag. So the only thing I can think of is there's no way in the world that that guy could have made a mistake of that. I believe that the gunner shot at me intentionally, right? So all I can tell you is this: when you train, when there's no way in the world he could have made the mistake. That I believe that he shot intentionally. So I had to do what I had to do when I had the time because he was a sergeant like I was, and we settled business like men. Because I felt that he did intentionally, and I did what I had to do in my own time. When I tried to talk to him, he he didn't say the truth, so I had to let him know what he did was wrong. I had to teach him a lesson. Uh, because the equipment that we have is high tech equipment that there's no way you can make the mistake. That you can tell what's a target, you can tell what's something that's real. When you're training, there's no way he's gonna make that mistake of shooting at a flag where I'm standing on the other side of the flag. No way. The only way somebody's gonna shoot at you that in that manner is because it's done intentionally. I'll get rid of this other troll here. I know who he is. Okay, I got rid of the other troll called Mimo or something like that. Yeah, brother agent. Just remember this. There is a lot of opportunities in the military. I would suggest to you if you do join, get yourself a good job. That you could be support. That if you don't want to be out there in the front lines, uh, you don't have to. Get a good score that you'll be able to do a desk job. There's desk jobs. You could be a paralegal. You could be work at the aid station, do other things besides being a tanker like I was, or being a infantry or a scout. Mainly those infantry scouts and all that were the first ones to go. We're placed out there in those combat environments. If you do join, and there's some people join just for the college, that do 4 years, you can find yourself a job that's good, like support or something like that. You do that the desk job, for 4 years and you get your GI Bill, serve your 4 years GI Bill, you can leave. Or if you don't want to do nothing with the military anymore, do like 8, 10 years, serve your full time. Like not full time to retire is 20 years, or probably different now than when I was in. But if you can do like at least 10 years, then they won't try to be able to call you for if there's a draft or a war, because you done served your time. Uh, but there is college opportunity there. After you graduate, you can use your GI Bill. Uh, your college will be paid. They pay you to go to school. So it'll be a good experience. And of course, you'll become since you serve 4 years, you'll become a vet. In which you're able to get free care if you have some kind of injuries or something dealing with the military. The VA will be able to take care of you. They've been taking care of me ever since I left the military. Even though they give me a hard time, I still, will still take care of me because I'm a veteran, combat veteran. Let me see some of the other comments there. Yeah, if you want to give me some likes, man, I'm sharing my wisdom and knowledge here with y'all. To this day, I have a lot of my soldiers that were under me that I bump into, and they'll call me Sarcias, out of respect. I was one of those soldiers that was like kind of like hardcore, where I would train my soldiers, I would smoke my soldiers, do push-ups, sit-ups, just to keep them in shape, and to keep them focused on the mission, to have them ready, till I left. I know, I got hurt and stuff like that. Then when I left, it's like when you leave the military, it's like your life becomes you have to transition over to become a civilian again. Uh, what I've done and what I've been through, that is always going to be with me. I'm always going to be a soldier. It's because I served my government for 10 years. I know what it takes to survive a combat environment because I've done it. Thank you all for subscribing. Uh, I have friends that when I got injured, I had no choice but to leave because I was in same place in ATC where people die later on. I was in an accident where we did go to a wadi. I almost got the gun tube. I mean, I was a loader at the time. The loader's 240 machine gun handle almost went into my gut. We went into the wadi, like a 15, 20-foot drop. And when we landed, I flew out of the tank. I grabbed onto the handles, and when the tank bounced up and down, my head went in first, and I hit the breech with my head. I had my CVC on. That got shattered, and I was knocked out. The breech is where the main gun round goes in, and I got knocked out there. My eyes just kept on moving, uh, where I was knocked out, and I could hear people talking to me, and they'll tell me, stay awake, keep your eyes open, stay awake, and my eyes just flickering. They were just flickering. I remember I got air medevac out of there. I went up in the hospital. My eyes were still flickering. Uh, they're trying to see if I was bleeding internally or had any bleeding in the head, but I didn't even think to check my head. I don't know. All I know is it took me a while to recuperate from that. But because of that blow to the head that I had over the years that I still was in the military, they diagnosed me with epilepsy because of the blow to the head. It kind of messed me up. So in saying that, that's one of the reasons I had to leave the military because I couldn't perform my job duties anymore. The vibration of the tank, the thermal, everything that the tank did would trigger seizures. So when I left the military, it was about trying to find a cure, a medicine that was going to be able to control what I was going through. Which, thank God, after numerous years, I'm on a medicine that's control all that. That I can go out and the sun's not gonna hurt me. But I still gotta take precautions, right? But yeah, it was a strong blow. That I shouldn't be here, but I'm here. Oh yeah, I should have so many times, brothers and sisters, that you just don't know how the Lord. That's why I talked about Him so highly. I don't go to church. I have your relationship with Jesus Christ. So when people try to make fun about somebody about holy oil or all this, I don't make fun about people like that because I know He exists. He's been there for me throughout my life. I've been in many situations. Uh, I'm going to give you a story, a situation why since when Jesus Christ has been in my life. I was 5 years old. It was hot as hell in the valley. My mom sent me to the corner store to go buy a loaf of bread. She said, "Go, and run over there, get this loaf of bread, and come back real fast." And when your mother gives you a command, you follow suit, or you're gonna get spanked. In the Spanish tradition, right? Your mom says something, you better do it. So I run over there. I'm barefooted. I got shorts on. I got no shirt, and they already know me at the corner store. And I go get the loaf of bread. We had credit there, and the loaf of bread. This is like in the 70s. The loaf of bread, because we have credit, was like two something, two something for a loaf of bread. Oh, no, I'm not gonna say two something. I'll say one something. When you can go buy a loaf of bread right now for like what, 85 cents, 65 cents, 85. You get credit. Credit's gonna cost you a little bit more, right? Like double the price. As I walk out of the store, there's a black limo with tents that pulls up in front of our house. There's two guys that get off with shotguns. They go break into the front door of the house, and I'm standing there with a loaf of bread in my hand, barefooted, and I'm seeing all this. They go in there, you hear boom, boom, boom. They come out, they're looking at me, and they jump in the vehicle. They were dressed in black. They had shades on, and then I'm just standing there looking at the vehicle, like frozen because of what I witnessed. But I'm looking at them. They lowered down the window, and one of them looks at me and said, "You're lucky you're a kid. So you're lucky you're a kid because just because you're a kid, you're alive right now. If you wouldn't be a kid, you wouldn't be here. We'll kill you." He told me that, right? And I'm looking at him. So when he tells me, I'm just looking at him, and I didn't move or nothing. I didn't run away from him with fear. I just stood there, and the guy is like, "Look at this little." He's like, "Look at this little guy. He's not afraid of us." I just feel like he said, "I just feel like taking him out. He seems like he's brave." But I didn't move or nothing. I didn't budge. And then he looked at me one more time. He said, "You're lucky." They close the windows and they drive away. They had shot somebody in there. Uh, I walked home with a loaf of bread. I got home. My mom said, "What took you so long?" And she said, I should whoop you for taking too long." I didn't say nothing to her. The reason I didn't say nothing to her, no, I was a kid. I was in shock what I witnessed. So of course I'm not going to say nothing to her. And she's like, "Why are you not responding to me?" And I never told her what I witnessed. I kept it to myself. I kept it to myself because I didn't want to say nothing. Because I knew the way my mom was. That if I told her what I witnessed, that she was gonna go over there, she was gonna raise hell, and something could happen. So I just kept it to myself. Sometimes you can have to keep certain things to yourself. Oh yeah, I've seen the enemy, just like I've seen the enemy of people, how people are because in that time in their life they want to be a certain way. I've seen the enemy of the unseen enemy, the demonic beings that infiltrate people like that. That The reason I never got an answer to the question to him was, how come you're not afraid? They said, well, I wasn't afraid because God is with me. If God is with me, who am I going to be afraid of? So he's looking at me and look at this little guy. He thinks he's bad. No, it's because Jesus Christ has my back, and you don't know what he can do to you if you try to do something to me. He's gonna take care of you. I never told him that. Now, as a little kid, you just don't know what the power of Jesus Christ is. What can happen 7 times fold. So, I'm always sure, that eventually that path that he was living, that he eventually caught up to that guy. I'll try to see what the church that you go to, brother. So maybe one day we can do a live together, or you can relay me to the person in charge of the church. I've gone visited churches where I'm not talking about churches fried chicken, y'all. That's only on Wednesdays when they have the special. Y'all know churches chicken has a special on chicken, right? Uh, that's on Wednesdays. Tuesdays is what's the name of that one? The other chicken place, Bush's Chicken has a special on Tuesdays, and churches has a special on Wednesdays for fried chicken. But yes, I understand what church you're talking about, brother. I've been invited to so many different churches that I've attended. People invite me and say, "Okay, I'll go to where you worship Jesus Christ." I've gone to non-denominational ones. I've gone to uh, the Mormon church just as a visitor. Which they believe in other things, the Book of Joseph and stuff like that. But that's why I stick to having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I was born Catholic, but I went astray from Catholic because of certain events that happened that I didn't feel it was right. So I just maintained my relationship with Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's important to go to church. But at the same time, you don't have to go to church to worship Jesus Christ. That's where we have our personal relationship. We have our personal, I try to say, uh, what's the term that I'm trying to use? Our personal foundation, or our personal church within us when we go into prayer, right? To pray to Jesus Christ. We pray for people who have the relationship with him. So he knows what's in the heart. So what I do is this works. There's people that do works within the church where there's tithe, there's money, and they're trying to help people that go to them for spiritual help. Well, the works that I do is different. Is I'm in the front lines, just like I was in the front lines of the Battle of Medina Ridge. Well, I'm the front lines out here fighting the unseen spiritual war, which that's been my task. In which I make videos and I capture the things that are within the woods, not just within the woods. Sometimes I capture things in public, or I see people that are being spiritually attacked, that they might have an attachment, or at times being possessed, and I go into spiritual warfare, and I get rid of the unclean spirits that the spirits will have, or somebody calls me to their home because they're having activity in their home. I'll do a cleansing in their home, um, but mainly is to expose. That's why it's called spiritual encrypted encounters, to expose the spiritual things that are around us. That there's a lot of people that are getting deceived by believing in other things, in which the things that they're believing in is giving power to the enemy. So that's why I created the channel, to bring the truth of how not to give power to the enemy. When it's about belief, right? How many people believe in Jesus Christ? I do. Well, imagine this. I'm going to say this question: how many people believe in Bigfoot? How many people believe in the Dog Man? How many people believe in the Mothman or cryptids? Just got to remember one thing: believe is believing, right? So if I believe in Jesus Christ, then as I believe in Jesus Christ, that He can help me spiritually He comes and assists me spiritually. So for those people that are believing in other things, what if I were to tell you that the things that they're believing are demonic of nature? So what are they doing? They're living in spiritual opening. If they are demonic in nature, they're leaving a spiritual opening for them to get spiritually attacked. That's what they're doing. That's why I created spiritual encrypted encounters to bring truth. I know it's late right now, but sometimes I like sleeping during the day. Sometimes I like making videos during the day, but I know a lot of people are working, just like right now there's a lot of people sleeping. But I don't know, I got my night owls that are up right now, so I'm making this video right now. Uh, but that's how it is. See, we got somebody else there interrupting. Let me see. Do you know why this channel is called Spiritual Encrypted Encounters? I want to tell you why it's called Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I Before I even came into a cryptic community, or I didn't even know what a cryptic community was, I was doing works, spiritual works, and light workers of the world, and light worker life feeds. Those groups do exist. I was doing works there, and I was talking spiritually till some of the admins from the group told me that I wasn't allowed to bring Jesus Christ into the picture. I was like, "You talking about light workers of the world, things of the world? Well, Jesus created the world. Why wouldn't you bring Jesus into the picture?" So whatever light workers of the world that we're talking about, well, I separated myself from there. But there was a person that was there that was seeing the works that I was doing and the pictures that I was placing, and I was always talking about the spiritual battle of the unseen and stuff like that. So their husband was a cryptid person, so they sent me to them. That person referred me to Mr. Vic Cunda from Dogman Encounters, in which I have an episode there called Dogman Encounters 53. That was the first time I ever made a podcast, and it's because I got lured from a spiritual site to the cryptic community. I did my episode, and I'll talk in that episode where what I believe, what I seen because of the time frame was 3 in the morning, that one money, and because of that, well, what I said in that podcast, I got targeted. I got targeted by members of the cryptic community that believe in Bigfoot to be 100% flesh. They targeted me in a way where they kept on reporting my contact, reporting my pictures, in which my account got permanently deleted, right? Permanently deleted from Facebook, in which I had all the pictures of my son, I had the pictures of my wife, everything got deleted. So at that time when I got attacked that way, and I said, you know what, it's not going to stop me. So I created another positive spiritualist. It grew, it was up to 565, and it attacked me again. So I stopped growing. I said, well, there's no reason why I should put any more contact on here, because he stopped growing. So I said, oh, you know what? Since it's a cryptic community that has targeted me, I'm going to create spiritual and cryptid encounters. And when I create this, I'm just going to talk about the spiritual aspect out of it, but I'm going to leave cryptid there so the cryptid community can understand uh, that all I was doing was speaking the truth. And I'm going to bring the spiritual aspect out of it with the name still being cryptid. So those people that attack me can remember who I am, why the works that I do. So when you see the trolls that pop up here, right, they say bad things. Most likely there are cryptid believers, 100%. That's what they are. But I'm still doing my works, whether they like it or not. They can throw a fit. They can come in with fake profiles. They can try to do what they want to do, talk bad about me, but it's not going to stop me from the works that I do. If I went to combat and overcame the enemy, the battle on Medina Ridge, look it up. I'm saying the names of where I'm at. You're talking to a true survivor of a war. The battle of Medina Ridge was the biggest tank battle out there. Uh, I survived that. You know what? When the guy was bumping up, talking about stolen valor, it's because he's a troll. You know, and like I said, I can make a video on my regular Facebook group or here, you know, and show you all my the identifications that I got that I'm a veteran. You know, uh, I believe he's going through some things. Brother Josh Turner, you know, I do shows with him on Fridays when me and brother Josh Turner at one point in time we had a fallout because there was people instigating. You know, when all these trolls that pop up, there's people that instigate. So you know, he was going through some things. I was going through some things. This was the times of COVID, but we spoke to each other and we talked and we just called the truth. You know, like you know what, I don't got time to be fighting with anybody. I rather have you as a friend than an enemy. So we became friends. So it's kind of like a lot of these trolls that troll him that started trolling me because they dislike that we're friends and they dislike that he invites me over on Fridays. I do podcasts with him on Fridays. You know that I'm there uh, uh, making podcasts with other. There's like four of us, and I'm part of that show. So yeah, I have a lot of people right now that really dislike me uh, because of the spiritually encrypted encounters. Number one, but because I make shows with Brother Josh Turner. You know, but that's you know you can't keep everybody happy. There's people in the cryptic community that just want division. You know, if you really think about it, like anything dealing with the cryptid, like where they say certain locations, certain things happen, about money. A lot of those are tourist sites, so they have to keep the legend alive in order for that town to 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 uh, to keep on making money. You know, so of course there's going to be more sightings, or people are going to cite more and say, "Oh, I seen this, I seen that," to keep the legend alive. Just like you try, people try, they're tryhards. Y'all seen the same things I'm seeing. I'm just speaking truthfully. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you see the tryhards that are trying so hard. These tryhards are hoaxers that they're literally dressing people up in baggy costumes, making videos trying to say that's a Bigfoot or that's a dog man, but you could literally tell it's a person in costume. Now those people right there is what's ruining it for the cryptic community that's giving them a bad name is because they're trying to keep the legend alive, right? So they're giving them a bad rep. And when I see a video, I just laugh, man, because if you look at the legs of the people in costume, you can see it's a baggy costume, a baggy costume. You know, it's just ridiculous. You know, and sometimes the face, you could tell it's a man. You see it all the time. Look at the TikToks, Instagram, and YouTube. You see what I'm talking about. Uh, when you experience something real, spiritual real, then you know. That's why I talk about these tales of the Llorona, the Djinn, the the DDN. You know, you want to talk about demons. You want to talk about the Legion. Uh, I've been there. I've seen the activity of what they can do. Uh, those people that say they're cryptids out there in the woods. I'm just sorry to say that they're not cryptids. They're not something that's in the flesh. There is animals that are out there that are alive. What they're witnessing is a demonic presence that's in the woods, and the more they get lured deeper into the woods, where you have 401 missing cases of children and people, uh, the more you get lured into believing it's something real, the more that demonic presence is gaining power over them. That's if you notice in the cryptic community, one of the things that has been happening this past year or for 2 years now. There's been a lot of people dying within the cryptic community. There's demonic spirits because they're giving them power and belief. They even give them gifts. Well, to them, that's an opening, a spiritual opening to attach itself to them. If it attaches to the person, it follows them home. If it attaches to the body, it makes them sick. in which their number one mission is to destroy the host. And we've lost a lot of people in that nature. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to warn people not to give power through belief. But it's like some are listening and some are not. They're sticking to what they want to keep the legend or the myth of Bigfoot alive. I'm sharing what I've witnessed, what I experienced here in Central Texas. I got short reels where there's something manifested there, but it's not here in the flesh. It's in disembodied form, which leads to me that it's demonic, especially when I go into prayer or I rebuke it through Jesus Christ's name and it disappears and it leaves a stench of sulfur or pestilence that I know is something demonic. You know, that's how you put it to the test. You know, if you anybody from the Christian community, if you don't believe me, if you witness something, put it to the test. Say, you have to have true faith in Jesus Christ. Say, I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. When you bring Jesus Christ's name into the picture, it will disappear and flee. Even if it looks real, it will the manifestation will leave this realm, because when you bring Jesus Christ in the picture, it's scared of Jesus Christ and it flees. Yeah, there's some videos like that Orville where there's people that like this one called Sassy Squash. It was a female, dressed as a Sasquatch. You got one with a guy playing a saxophone. No, there were some guys that were dressed up as Bigfoots over here where I live, at near Sharkridge Falls. They was always dressed up as Bigfoots and Bigfoot baggy costumes, and they were just standing on the side dancing, you know, stuff like that. But just the way those costumes look baggy, that's what I see in the videos that that people are being played. People are played, but there is people that they want to believe they're 100% real, and they're so gullible. Not to be mean, but that they're so focused on them to being 100% real that they're so gullible that they forget to see the reality of the videos of the people that are pretending to be Bigfoots. That you can see it's a baggy costume. There was one where they said, "Oh, look at this one. This is a real Bigfoot." When he lifts his foot, I slowed down the video. You can see there's a tennis shoe underneath, underneath the foot of the Bigfoot. It's like, oh man, that Bigfoot must have gone to Foot Locker and then got himself a pair of Snickers. Things like that, and you could tell. Yeah, it's a hoax to discredit for the real thing. Because that's what started the community. They try to tell me I'm hurting the community of the cryptid. So how am I hurting the community? I'm just bringing the spiritual truth. I have my evidence. I have short reels. If you look at check out my short reels, and you see there's something within the pictures. Uh, Normally, when I capture something in my short reels, when I go investigate this unseen, this demonic presence, or what I call disembodied demonic Nephilim show up. They show up because I go prepared. I pray before I go there. When I show up, they come, man. You hear all kinds of activity. Whether they're making snout sounds, they're talking a different language. They're trying to pretend they're a child. They're trying to pretend they're a woman because you hear in the disembodied voices, women, children, somebody coughing. You can hear branches breaking, and I just maintain my faith, my love. And there's times that when they really surface up, that they break my connection. That when they surface up in that manner, they're around me. So I'm seeing activity around me of this unseen forces, right? That they're manifesting. So I'll go into prayer and I say, I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, and they flee. Uh, when it gets hot and heavy, that's when I say, you know what? It's time for me to go, and I leave. And before I leave the woods, I take authority over them through Jesus Christ, and I say nothing's allowed to follow me home. But I haven't been there in a while because what I'm talking to you right now is the thing that happened the last time I've ever been out there. Something jumped on my shoulders. There was nothing physical, but it was something with weight, in which when they manifest, they have the ability to also manifest weight. So whatever it was, It was in my shoulder areas. It tried to drop me, and I stood up. And when I stood up, I could feel a lot of weight on me. My toe was hurting, and I said, I tied by the rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. And whatever was on me, the weight went off of me. But there was nothing there in the physical form, right? So I prayed. I made it there. When I got home, my toe was messed up. It's kind of like I had to go to the doctor. We were trying to figure out what happened, and the doctor told me this. I said, "Hey," he said, "Did you drop a weight on your toe or something?" I said, "No." And then he said, "Do you lift heavy weight?" I said, "Because what I'm seeing on your toe is like if you lifted something very heavy." Well, I said, "No, I don't lift weights, heavy weights." So my toe is still kind of messed up from that time I went out to the woods, in which it manifested weight on me, trying to drop me. And my toe, basically, what the doctor told me is, it looks like I carried something very heavy that my toe almost ruptured. So I've been having problems with my left toe. You know, compare what happened to me out there. I went to the doctor to find out what was going on with my toe, and the doctor's telling me that. What is that telling me? That's telling me that this disembodied demonic Nephilim can when it manifests itself or tries to attach it to, it's trying to attach itself to you, that it also has weight. Just like it takes the manifestations to look real, it also has weight. That's why my left toe is injured. That's why I haven't been out there, because I had an injured left toe. Yeah, it, it was so much weight that it made my I lift weights here at the house, right? It was so much weight that it tried to drop me from to the ground, and it made my leg buckle. That's how much weight it was. Because I've lifted heavy weight before, but this was beyond heavy. That if I would have said, "I tie by the rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name," only God knows what would have happened. So I haven't been back to that. It's been months now. My toe hasn't healed. My toe is still injured. I have an appointment to go to find out what's going on with it. But the doctor in the emergency room told me that the only thing he's seen something like that happen is when somebody lives very heavy weight. That he thought that I dropped a weight on my toe. But what I remember what happened to me out there, where something jumped on me and it tried to draw me, and it felt like it was on my shoulders. That's how they attach brothers and sisters. This demonic forces, they attach around the neck area. I have a brother. Maybe I'll make a video with my brother. His name is Brother Steve. He's very knowledgeable about all this. Uh, he would tell me that some of this, the Leviathan. There's some. He talks about the Leviathan. That the Leviathan spirits, that they like attaching themselves to the spinal cord, to the neck area. Well, that day, that's where it attacked me at, was in the neck area. And ever since then, I've been having problems with my neck area and stuff like that. But, I pray daily against it. I still work out, continue the things that I do regardless, But I want to bring Brother Steve one day, go live inside the house. Tonight, I like doing this stories at nighttime, for the night owls, those that are awake, they like to hear, stories, But yes, Brother Steve is very knowledgeable about a lot of this. He's from New York, and he's fought against a lot of this demonic forces spiritually while he was a member of a church. So, yes. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, I'm just trying to bring spiritual awareness. It's like this. I share the way I bring my spiritual awareness is through my experiences, right? So I have people that don't want, for the cryptic community, that don't want people to believe that the Bigfoots or the Dogmans or demons, right? So they dislike me. And then I got people in the paranormal community that do not believe in Jesus Christ and worship other things that dislike me. So besides those people, and I already have the things that I'm battling, which is a lot worse than people, which is the story I just told you about. What's in the woods, the demons, the DDN, whatever you want to call them, that I battle when I go investigate. So I'm battling all these things, but I'm still going to do the works that I do through Jesus Christ, regardless of what people say about me or whatever. I'm going to continue to do those works. Maybe one day I'll take you out there with me. I like going during the day because things. The one thing people don't know, and I'm going to share with y'all right now, is that the ultraviolet rays of the sun breaks the cloak. Listen to me. Breaks the cloak of DDN, the demonic forces that are out there. It breaks the cloak, in which you're able to catch a better manifestation of them, because the ultraviolet rays of the sun, as they're manifested in disembodied form, it gives them some kind of color to be able to see what they are. I'm just letting you know. That's what happens. That the ultraviolet rays of the sun breaks their cloak. Which, what do the ultraviolet rays of from Jesus Christ, from Mother Nature, right? From when the gates of hell open, uh, when He sends storms and rain up, that can break the cloak too. Uh, but that's through everything is done through Jesus Christ. That's why I capture a lot of my material pictures sometimes, because they dislike me. That when they're coming at me, they want to come drain my energy, But I got protection. I pray, and of course, I carry protection around me that so my energy won't be drained. Uh, so they come at me in numbers. It's not one, it's not two, it's numbers, it's many. Uh, but I pray against them through Jesus Christ. And when I come home, I debunk my videos. There's times that my connection is broken numerous times while I'm out there, that I capture a little bit, but there's times that I've caught in a lot. I've caught in movement where they're moving in super high speed using like the air or Mother Nature itself or the elements, but I lower down the speed of my recording from my lives, that I'm able to capture them where they're moving so fast and they stop right in front of me and they're looking at me and then they move. I have a video like that. And if you look at the face, people talk about Dog Man, that's what it looks like. Or you want to talk about Thor, that's what it looks like. But the the demons or the DDN or anything in that nature has the ability to manifest to anything that it wants to manifest. It has those capabilities, in which it causes a lot of they deceive people, trick people to believe there's something else, because they don't want you. Through spiritual law, they have to identify themselves, so they take a form, where they take the form of a Bigfoot or they take a form of a dog man, and people say, I think I seen a Bigfoot. I think I seen a dog man. I say to them, is that really what you see? What if it's uh, showed you a form, uh, and it's through spiritual law, it's got to identify yourself. Is identify yourself as something, but what if that something is demonic? Through spiritual law, these demons, they have to identify themselves. So you have to look through the facades. If it's there, then it disappears in thin air because you say I tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Then it's not something that's real or something that's in the flesh. If it's disappearing, it's because it's something that's demonic. You hear it all the time, cryptic community. I was my boy Bill. I shot that Bigfoot right in between the eyes, and I shot it several times, but the bullets went right through it, and the Bigfoot just disappeared, went in through a tree. How is something that is real or in the flesh? You shooting, you're good. More sure they're good hunters, right? That all the shots that they shot missed, and then they say that the Bigfoot goes into a tree. Now, first they were saying, well, the Bigfoots there are 100% flesh. Well, if it's 100% flesh, it runs into a tree. Well, guess what's going to happen if it runs into a tree? It's going to get knocked out, or something's going to happen to the tree, right? Which you're going to have some kind of contact. Then they change the story to, just so they won't say it, they're demonic, in which they don't want to say they're demonic. They changed it to, well, the Bigfoot is in the flesh. They are psychics. You know? Demons that can get to somebody's head, put things in their head, in which that's a demonic attack that can attach them, put things in people's heads as a form of a possession. So, well, they're flesh beings, right? They're flesh beings, they're psychic, and they're interdimensional beings. I think they're affiliated with the UFOs. So when they're going into a tree, they're going into another dimension, right? That's what they're saying, to keep the legend alive. Well, I'm sorry, I'm here to say that Lucifer is an angel of light. Uh, Lucifer, or the demons, can pretend to be UFOs, orbs, right? When they're going, they say interdimensional, well, they're going into the hell realm. I tell them, put it to the test. Say, I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. That's what I tell people. But till this day, I'm waiting for them to say there are demonic in nature. There are demons. And they're not saying that. Why? Because they want to keep the belief of the Bigfoot to be alive. Okay, Chris Henson, bye bye. I'll send you to talk to what you worship to. Who else is gonna go off here? Okay, Captain Dumb, you're out of here too. That's two people I eliminated out of here. I don't mind getting rid of trolls, you know. Morning. So I got rid of some of the trolls that were surfacing up. I'm just here to tell you, you know, put it to the spiritual test. The reason I say that is because I put it to the spiritual test. When I seen a dog man appear in front of me, I said, I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. You know what it did? It disappeared and it left a puff of smoke and it smelled like sulfur, which that means it's demonic. Seeing a Bigfoot manifest, I prayed against it. I tried to rebuke it. It left a pestilent smell, but it disappeared. It didn't go running into the woods. It just vanished. That's how you put it to the test. That's when you know when it's demonic. Uh, oh, it's not about opinion, man. I don't mind if you say something smart, but there's baby again. How you doing there, Michael? How's yeah? Hey, Michael, have you gotten your son yet? Have you gotten your son yet? I've been keeping you in prayer, brother. I hope you get Hunter home sometime soon. I've been keeping you in prayer, baby. How's Hunter? I hope. I hope. I know he's in a good place right now. That his mother is taking care of him. God bless her soul. That she's got to do the job of a mother and a father. But in saying that, there he goes. I sent him away. His real name is Debbie Dad. That's the guy that I was speaking of. That's Debbie Dad. That he just want people to give him donations or bumming money off of people instead of sharing some content or speaking with the audience about something. He's a troll. He wants to troll people. I'm seeing this thing that I'm capturing is in Central Texas right now, but I've seen them everywhere that I've been, that I've traveled to when I was in the military, back home. It's nothing new to me, but I'm able to capture them when I'm recording and doing spiritual lives. They don't like me talking spiritually, so they come in and interrupt my feed. They try to drain the energy on my phone or try to interrupt my connection. That's how I capture them. It's like as I'm moving my camera around, right, and whether it's breaking or not, I'm still capturing them within the camera. When I debunk the video, that's when I cache their images. You're welcome, Sister Amy. How you doing, Nazir? Gangland, you know that Satan kneels to Jesus Christ, right? I hope everybody's doing great. I know I've been talking for a while now. My wife is. We celebrated our 3-year anniversary yesterday, and she's awake. I hope I didn't wake her. Uh, t- uh, Deleting trolls off of here. So is that what you worship, Gangland? I think Gangland is another troll. Uh, I mean, it's hard for me to talk to people that don't have real names. You know. Hey, I can show you some stories. I'll share a story with you, Gangland. Since you're talking about the devil, I'm going to share a story with y'all, man. That's your story. We're going to go with it right now. So that's what you worship, Gangland. I'm going to share a story with y'all. In Lubbock, Texas, uh, when I was growing up, we were migrant workers. We'd go work in the fields and stuff like that. And there was other families that would go work over there in the fields. Well, when we come back after the summer, we go back and we find out that there was a family. This one's for old boy that believes in the devil, for Gangland. Uh, there was his family. There were migrant workers also, and and there was a woman, right? There was a family. The woman had gotten possessed by the devil. The woman had gotten possessed by the devil, and there was different religions, different people that would go to their house. They live in a ranch to try to get rid of Lucifer because it was saying it was Lucifer, that it was Satan that had control over her. So my parents were part of a prayer group, and they got called upon because many people tried and they couldn't get rid of the possession of that woman that the Satan had control over. My parents were part of a prayer group, uh, and that was led by a priest. So they went over there as a prayer group, and they went into the house of the woman, and she was in her room. Uh, as they hold circles and they started praying, they hold hands. They were praying for her. The room got real cold, like real cold, below zero. And as the room got cold, right, the the woman that was like 33 years old, her her figure changed to a very old woman, and the voice that came out of her
was Lucifer, and she said that he said it was Lucifer, that her soul belonged to her, that it belonged to him. So out of those people in the circle, right, some people got scared for what they witnessed. So they broke the circle. They broke the circle, and some of them took off running because I got scared of what they witnessed. Now, I know this story because I overheard my parents talking about what happened when they came back from there. They were scared also, like they were freaked out. I seen how they were acting. They were scared. They were talking about it, and that's how I know the story, because I was always paying attention to when people talk about something. So I remember when I was in school, because this the devil was not just possessing her. You see, it was possessing the whole family. It was going into the children. I'll be at school, and next thing you know, I hear somebody whisper in my ear, and will tell me, "Believe in Satan." And when I look, it was a kid. It was a guy. He was around my age, and that guy was a member of that family. I could be in the school bus, and one of the other brothers will whisper in my ear and say, "Believe in the devil," or "Believe in Satan." And I believe that they were being used to try to come up against me spiritually, right? But I said, I believe in Jesus Christ. So, I left the military, joined the military, went around the world and stuff like that. There was this man, which was my brother's. Go over there. Go. He's scratching on the wall. My brother, his father-in-law. No, I was telling about that incident, and he's looking at me, and he said, "I got something to tell you." I told him about what I remembered of the story, and so I got something to tell you. He said, "I know how that woman got possessed." I said, "Okay, well, share the story with me." That's how I'm sharing the story with y'all now. This is like almost 30 something years after that incident. Uh, he said that the husband of the woman that got possessed, that they were drinking beer at this lake called Devil's Lake. They were drinking beer, and he said, "I'm going to show you that God doesn't exist and the devil doesn't exist." And he said, "How are you going to do that?" So he's out there and he calls upon Jesus Christ to show himself to him. He said, "You see, he doesn't exist." He kept on drinking. He said, "Now I'm going to show you that Satan doesn't exist." So as he's drinking beer, he calls upon him, tells him to show himself to him. He didn't. Well, he did when his family got possessed. That's how the family got possessed, because he didn't believe. So if he didn't believe in Jesus Christ, what was left for the spiritual opening for the whole family to get attacked in that nature was no faith, no belief. So there was nothing there to protect him or his family spiritually. True story. I'm just sharing that with y'all, brothers and sisters. I'm here just talking to you, to the camera, just sharing it with y'all. That's what happened. Till this day, I don't know if that woman ever got free from that bondage or the possession. I don't know. I'm just sharing the story with y'all. Sometimes there are demons, gangland, that pretend to be Lucifer or Satan. That pretend to be, but they do that to try to make deals with you. They're doing his works So they go and try to offer you something. They're trying to make you some kind of deal. That's what they do. Uh, all I'm saying is demons are like buying a used car at a lime lot where the car's no good. They're going to give you a cheap deal that they're going to deceive you and trick you, and next thing you know, you put yourself in a situation. I'm just being honest with you. That's when you have to fight spiritually when they surface up, when they're trying to offer you something. They're trying to deceive you, they're trying to trick you because they know that somewhere within you, even you, gangland, somewhere within you, there's some kind of goodness. So they're trying to offer you something uh, if they show themselves to you because they see you as a spiritual threat that maybe you haven't found your way or your journey, but they see you, they know that maybe this video of what I'm doing here is helping you to find your way, that you are somebody, you know. You just have to awaken spiritually to know what your true nature is spiritually. But yeah, I didn't know there was so many people up so early in the morning. You know, I've seen a lot of trolls there for a while. Hit the like buttons, guys. You know, give me a topic. I'll talk to you about any topic you want to talk about. I got all kinds of stories. I've been fighting spiritually since I was 3 years old. Uh, I'm 53. I'm 55 right now. So I have 52 years of spiritual knowledge. I've been fighting all my life. Or how the song goes, been fighting all my life spiritually. Give me a topic and we'll talk about that topic. How about that? When demons manifest is because you have a spiritual opening, you might be going through something. So they see that as a spiritual opening. That's when they manifest. That's when they try to attack. That's when they try to attach themselves to you because you have a spiritual opening. You might be living in sin. You might be uh, on the bad road. I think somebody was talking about meth earlier. You know, you can be in the that could be a spiritual opening. So they surface up at your wickets. They surface up at your weakest point when the opening is there to attack. That's where they surface up. Yeah, rebuke them. You rebuke them to Jesus Christ's name. They get pissed off when you rebuke them because uh, they can't accomplish the mission that they're trying to do. So when you place Jesus Christ first, they flee. You know, they'll let you know is I can win right now. They'll flee. Uh, that's happened to me where I had to rebuke them using Jesus Christ, even though they were offering things. I rebuked them to Jesus Christ's name, and I stayed firm with my faith and belief in Jesus Christ. Yeah, it could be things they're living a certain life. Things are happening in their lives that they have distanced themselves away from Jesus Christ, or so many things are happening to them that they forget to pray, or they forget, or maybe they might know Jesus Christ. They never had a relationship with Him, so that's why I'm here making this videos is to awaken my brothers and sisters spiritually. We all need help, some kind of way or the other. That's why I don't mind people that are coming at me in a negative way. I've been fighting all my life, so the comment that somebody might say here bad in a negative way towards me is nothing compared to what I faced. I know I faced when people talk about Satan, the demon. I faced that all throughout my life, so I'm not afraid of people being negative, saying negative comments. Sometimes people just don't want to hear the truth, and sometimes some of those individuals might be spiritually bonded, in which what's in them is telling them to say those things. So I have no hate towards nobody. But if I do delete people if they, they continue to troll. I'll delete them. Yes, I know about sleep paralysis. The only ones sleep when there's sleep paralysis, you've got the succubus and the incubus, which are demonic in nature. When you experience the sleep paralysis, that's what's lurking in your dream. They're keeping you entertained in the dream, in which in some of the dreams you can move. You can see the dark figure. Some people call it the sea witch. For a guy, the sea witch, or but they're in the distance, and You can see like a dark object in the distance. You can see some hair. Uh, but if you really look and pay attention, when you're going through something that through the sleep paralysis, which is a dream, look look to your right. Try to train your body to look to your right or to look to your left, and you're gonna notice there's one right there beside you, laying onto you. They travel together. The succubus and the incubus, they travel together. Uh, they keep you distracted through the dreams to keep you in the dreams in which some of the dreams are sinful in nature, which it's about sex, right? Because they're trying to uh, keep you preoccupied to drain, in which sometimes when they attack you, you're thinking that when you wake up, you're dreaming this all this woman that you're waking up with hickey marks, with bite marks, scratches on your body. That it's the dream that's causing that. It's not the dream that's causing that. What's causing that is a succubus and incubus that's hovering right above you when you're stuck in the dreamland. It's working on on your body, and it's causing that to your body. Uh, the only thing I can say about that is that if you can train yourself enough to wake up from a dream when you're going through it of sleep paralysis, then you can train yourself that when you wake up from the dream, that the first thing that you're going to say is, "I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name." When you say that, when you open up your eyes and you train yourself to for the Heavenly Father to show your enemy, you're going to see the succubus hovering over you with her mouth open. She's in disembodied form, trying to drain your life source, your energy. So when you see her, you say, "I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name," and guess what she's going to do? She's just going to go into little pieces, man. That's what I did to the what people call the sea witch or the succubus when I rebuked her in Jesus Christ's name. I battled her because she was attacking me through my sleep. You know, I was waking up with scratches. I had marks in between my legs where this succubus was attacking me. You know. Yes, and they can also, if you're caught up in the dream and you're in the dream, they can also take over your body. In which, when you wake up from your sleep, you're walking, you're sleepwalking, where you'll be in the living room, you'll be somewhere else that you don't know how you got there, but that's what they do. They can control your body in that nature while you're too busy going through what you're going in the dream. But you have to train your body to be able to fight a succubus. The women have to deal with the incubus, but they travel in numbers. They travel in threes. They travel with a succubus, the incubus, and a familiar. So they come in numbers. I'm reading the comments here. Okay. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they are. You know, the succubus and incubus, they're demons, and they try to get you in your sleep. You know, they don't want you to get no rest, so they come at you. When I was dealing with the succubus and the incubus, I would hear children outside at 3 in the morning. You know, when I was having those sleep paralysis dreams where they were attacking me through sin, through the dreams, showing me all these naked women, right? That there were I would hear children outside my home like 3 in the morning, and I could see like their silhouettes outside my window. So I window to see what it was, but there was nobody out there. But that's when I started figuring out that I was dealing with the succubus and the incubus, because they can manifest that way. They can mimic voices, right? So they were manifesting the way to lure me outside. And when I go inside, it's kind of like they will find a way in the house. So I say to y'all, whoever's reviewing, I say to you, if you hear children at 3 in the morning outside the home, if you go outside, you better be spiritual ready, place a cross with some holy water, or just stay inside your home. because there's really no kids that are going to be running around 2, 3, 4 in the morning around your home. Those are demons that do that. Sometimes you hear the children, especially. That's crazy when you hear children and then it's not children. That's what they do. They try to lure you outside your home. So Gangla says, "Can I ask a question? Can they make your family's voice to where you can hear it? Your girlfriend can, but nobody else can." Yes, well, if your girlfriend can hear it, maybe she might be spiritually gifted, where she's hearing things because she's spiritually gifted and she's able to sense things spiritually. But they can mimic different voices. They can mimic animals also. So if it's 3 in the morning and you're hearing activity outside the home, or for example, if you're hearing tappings, like three tappings, 3 knockings, or 3 poundings outside the home at 3 in the morning, then you hear children, don't go outside. That's demonic in nature. It's got to identify itself, right? It's already identifying itself. When you hear the 3, that's against the Holy Trinity. It's letting you know what it is. You know, that's one of the things when people get scratched, they get scratched in 3s because they go against the Holy Trinity. So the 3 is demonic. That's the demonic hour, 3 in the morning. So don't go outside. Just go into prayer. You can fight from inside your home. You don't have to go outside. You can pray inside your home, and then you can say, if there's anything outside that's trying to enter my home, welcome in here. We tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. Do not come in my home. Yeah, they can mimic all kinds of voices, man. Sometimes you can hear something running on top of your roof, banging outside the wall, like boom, 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 like trying to get you to come outside. Like, who the hell is banging on my wall, But that's what they do. They try to lure you outside. So you have to be spiritual ready, Whatever you believe, all I can tell you is this, that through Jesus Christ, I'm able to identify what they are through Jesus Christ. They flee when I go into prayer and I tie, bind, and rebuke them. They flee. But when they flee, they always come back in numbers. So I have to continue to fight against the spirit. Thank you, brother Ruben. One of the other things succubus incubus do when you're first having the first presence of them is this, where you're laying down in bed. I'm gonna say this, and let's see how many of y'all this has happened to. When you're laying down in bed, before they have like more control over you, that all these other things happen. When you're laying down in bed and you feel somebody tug you from your feet, tug you from the ankles, pull you. That's one of the first signs of that there's a succubus and incubus in your home that have infiltrated your home, where you feel something pull you from the ankles. Sometimes you'll feel where somebody's trying to choke you, or sometimes you'll feel like somebody's going around your bed and you feel them scraping you with their finger on your body. They're going from one side of the bed to the other. That's a form of sleep paralysis, which that's one of the first signs of the succubus or the incubus. Yes, the dark figure in the corner with a hat. That's the, what do you call him? The Hat Man, or he's got a different name. He looks like, well, let's say this, the Hat Man, right? That he's kind of like Jack the Ripper, because the way he's dressed with the black, and it looks like he's got a cape. That they say that he's some kind of time traveler, right? That he's some kind of time traveler, and that is going through time killing, killing people. But that's the Hat Man. The Hat Man is demonic in nature. He's got red eyes. I've seen the Hat Man before. I've, I'll share this story if I do another video tonight. If y'all willing to join, I'll let you know more in depth of what happened in my family, where I lost family member because of what was happening with that woman that was possessed by Satan. I don't mind speaking about that. Uh, but yes, I have so many stories, brothers and sisters. For those that are willing to listen, I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. Uh, I know that uh, in life not everybody gets everything in life that they want. Sometimes some of us have to go through a rough life to that is placed in front of us to plant negative seeds to stop us from successing in life, because they don't want us to know what true love is. They don't want us to know what forgiveness is. So some of the things that happen in our lives come in a negative, right? So that's how negative seeds are planted. So I'm not here as your enemy. I'm telling you that right now. I've, I'm here as your friend. I've seen the balance, man. I've seen the good and the bad of the balance. I just know how good of a feeling it is to have a love connection. It's way better than feeling that you're drowning, or you're sinking in quicksand, that you're in a roller coaster ride that's never going to stop. That there is not good. When I'm until my love foundation, I pledge Jesus Christ first, man. That's through forgiveness, man. Those spiritual gifts of discernment are awesome. I can tell you that right now. That's why I make these videos. Like I said, I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. The enemy doesn't want you to know the truth. The enemy doesn't want you to get to know somebody like me speaking the truth. They rather want you to be dwelling in the negativity of them trying to keep you bonded. I'm just trying to free you from that, because I want you to know one thing. Anybody here is viewing that we are all children of God, and we're all equal. We have the opportunity to make it into the kingdom of heaven. The things that are trying to bring you down or trying to make you come up against me because they don't want you to know the spiritual truth. They want to keep you bonded where you're at. They're not going to mess with you. It's when you try to free yourself from that bondage, to know who you are as a brother and sister in Christ, that you are somebody. Once you start freeing yourself from that, is when they're really going to try to reveal themselves to you, because they don't want you to awaken spiritually. I'm here to help you awake spiritually, to share my stories, my wisdom, my knowledge to whoever wants to listen. Seizures, gangland. That's seizures. So I have seizures. Well, I'm on La White Tercetum right now. Um, and mine was from an injury from the military. Man, I'm going to share you a story, brother. No, seizures. If you look up seizures and read what seizures are, it's going to say. If you look it up, it'll say uh, demonic possession. It'll say that. It'll say demonic possession, seizures. Um, that's why it's important to place Jesus Christ first. But I know some people have seizure disorders. Is dealing with how the brain is functioning. I had a blow to the brain, to my head when I was in the military, that it caused me to have seizures. I never had seizures in my life. But a demonic possession can cause those kind of symptoms. Another thing that can cause symptoms of seizure, since I was in the military, I know, is when you're hit by a chemical agent. A chemical agent, like for example, a blood clot, a blood agent. It can target, the blood agent targets your blood, which is formed blood clots. If you're exposed to it, So the blood clots travel, go into your main organs, to your heart, into your brain, in which they can cause seizures and you can die. Another thing that could cause seizures. You see, I'm trying to talk about this, and something's trying to interfere from me talking about this. I was talking normally. Another thing that can seizures when you're being demonically attacked. So what do? When you're being demonically attacked, you take the measures. You protect your home. You bless your home. Place heavenly crosses on the windows and the doorways to protect your home. You place heavenly crosses on you or any other family members in your household, and you take authority of if you have any kind of activity in your house, you took authority over through Jesus Christ's name, and you type on and rebuke it and send it away out of your house. That's how you take authority over it through Jesus Christ's name. That's another thing, brother, Gangland. Uh, that might be causing your seizures also. The video games. If you ever read when you buy a video game back in the day that it would say can cause seizures, the different colors of the screen can cause seizures also. If you're a gamer, that can trigger a seizure. So maybe that's what might be causing to trigger your seizure. That, and if there's spiritual activity, but you playing the video game and looking at the screen, that could be a spiritual opening for you to get spiritually attacked. It's just like a win-win situation for the unseen forces, but video games can cause trigger seizures. That's why I don't really play. I got a system. I got the Xbox, and I really don't play it because of that. It can trigger seizure, where when you get off of it, your head is hurting, your eyes are hurting. We got another troll here talking about meth, so I'm gonna send him away. Well, he pops up again. There is people that are being spiritually bonded through drugs. You know, meth is one of them. People have lost their families to meth, where the only thing they want to do is get that high. They're being controlled by the drug itself. You know, I feel sorry for the people that don't want to change. They're never going to change. But I feel sorry for the families. You know, for the children that have no food because, or their lights are shut off, their bills are shut off, or they have nothing to eat because the people that are all methed up want to waste their money on drugs. A paycheck, the way I think, if I'm correct, meth costs like $20, or I don't know how much now for a piece of meth. So imagine if a paycheck, how fast they can go through a paycheck in one night or 2 nights, they'll have no money. I feel sorry for the ones that, for the children, for the ones that are going to sleep with no food in their stomach. They have no electricity in the home, or that might be homeless because somebody doesn't want to change their ways. It's crazy, man. Uh, I try to help out people to try to kick the bucket, whether it's weed, whether it's whatever, or drinking. The reason I say that, brothers and sisters, because there is an unseen spiritual war happening right now amongst us, and as a spiritual war is happening, any spiritual opening they can use to come up against you, they will. Like anything that dealing with drugs. I was in the military. I know about all the drugs because it's my job to be able to identify if my soldiers were good, if my soldiers were drunk, if they were on something. You're all forgetting about one of the other ones, acid. Some soldiers would smoke weed. Some soldiers would drop acid. There was doing meth. Not there were some that were doing meth, crack at the time. Now it's meth. Uh, there's some that were doing coke. Uh, in which they were caught. They were caught because we're not supposed to do that. They were caught through urinal tests, where we take urinal tests every month to make sure nobody is doing drugs. So you can tell when somebody's doing something. Uh, but it changes your demeanor, changes who you are as an individual. You can tell because you're on the drugs, but everybody else around tell that you're on something. It changes your demeanor. You're acting differently. Especially, it changes your demeanor when you're off the high, and especially if you don't get the money. Uh, if you don't get the money um, to get the high, it changes your demeanor big time. Let me see how I go in the room. Y'all can follow me. It's dark in here right now. Here you go. So I want to take this to the room and talk in the room, in the house. And we've been going at it for a couple of hours now. All right, babe, I'm in. Huh? Okay, here we go. Yeah, I had to come inside because they're trying to take the dogs outside so they can use the restroom. So let me sit down here real quick. Here we go. Let me take me some allergy medicines. Maybe that's what I might have. The Djinn spirit. Yeah. When you do that, when you were calling them out, maybe you didn't have the faith in Jesus Christ. You're just calling them out because you're trying to see if he exists. Yeah. He don't have to show you his presence, but he's got minions that work for him. And that's what'll come for you. I do this spiritual works, right? And I fight spiritually. Against the unseen. Instead of fighting trolls, I fight the good fight. So that's how I capture the images and the videos that I capture. I'm wide awake right now. I like sleeping during the day. Take me a little nap. I just felt that, at one time I was like, I'm just gonna stop doing the video, stop doing all this. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of people that are fighting. There's a lot of trolls. But then I said to myself, you know what? That's not what God would want me to do. If God didn't give up on me and he's with me still, then he would expect me not to give up on y'all, right? To do the good works. That's why I continue to do the good works in spite of who comes at me in a negative way. Thank you, Brother Stephen. Thank you, Brother Randy. I just want to say, I've seen a lot of people coming in. I don't got nothing against nobody. I never have. If they would just take the time to listen to what I have to say, then maybe they might have an understanding of what I'm trying to bring it into the cryptic community, so they can understand what's out there. I've been out there, when I was in the military. We trained for offensive defense. There was a war, we would be the first to go. So I would train in the woods day and night, so I know what's out there. So I would see things that are real: bobcats. Would see mountain lions, wildcats, wild boars, uh, cows that pop out of nowhere, snakes, and all kinds of other critters that are out there and living in the woods. Coyotes, wolves. When I was in the desert, camels. There's dogs in the desert, believe it or not. In Germany, there was wild boars that were big as cows. Oh, we try to say biggest cows that was almost as tall as a tank, and they have big tusks. Uh, that's their number one source of food in Germany is the wild boar. They were huge, massive, and they were running packs. The wild boars, if you go, there's little ones making the little noise around you. There's always a mother in the background. Well, I met the mother of the background one time. I had to go handle business in the woods when you're in training. It's dark. There was ice on the ground. You have to dig a hole, right? To dig. You want to handle your business, then you cover it up. I dug my hole when I was fixing to handle business. I just hear, and then when I turn around, I just see red eyes coming at me. And I didn't get to finish to handle the bit. All I know is I remember I jumped on top of this. I was on an M60 because we were playing out 4. We were the enemy playing out. We're pretending to be the enemy. I literally jumped on back of that tank, like, because I was just got frightened by what I witnessed. I was young, 19, but I've seen real flesh things that are out there that exist. The different kinds of real flesh beings, animals that are out there, and I've seen the ones through thermal imagery that have no heat, that they look like a shadow when they're walking around out there, and they have no heat. Animals, anything that's living has heat. Well, there's some beings that are out there that have no heat, in which that's telling me that's something that's disembodied, that's in spirit form. And I'm thinking, right, because I've witnessed them while I was in the military, that these beings that people are witnessing or those things that have no heat, that are of demonic in nature. We got somebody saying something here.
You're not gonna finish getting ready.
Okay. Okay, y'all. Well, I'm thinking this is all for right now. I'm gonna do one later on in the evening, like I did tonight, or this past night. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless every single one of y'all. Hit the like button. Share it to your friends. Share it to your groups that you're affiliated with. It was. I enjoyed talking to y'all tonight. Like I said, I'm your friend. I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help whoever needs help. Everybody have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace out, everybody.